this with my mother-in-law last night, and she could not shut up about the fact that it's series finale. And I'm like, well, it's MCU, like it's gonna go into the Doctor Strange movie, blah blah. But I have a couple of things to say about this. But before we start, I just want to say one, it's not going to be the typical, please follow us on YouTube, blah, 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 which you should follow us on YouTube. Go like and subscribe. Follow us here on Twitch. But number one, Jimmy Woo wasn't a villain, and I'm pissed. I'm mad. Like, why? Why are they going to go down that route?
Jimmy Woo forever.
Jimmy Woo forever.
Yes.
I will admit that I was wrong. I called Hayward an idiot, but not a bad guy. And then I watched him shoot at 2 kids. I was like, okay, no, he's evil. Get this guy.
Can we roll that footage, Manage, or can we roll that footage of you saying?
Anyways, I'll admit that. I'll admit that I said he's not a bad guy. He's just an idiot. But man, that hurt. I really was hoping that he was actually just like trying to do his job to protect the people, but honestly, he was just
a selfish prick.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. But without further ado, I'm gonna hand you over to the guy who called. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was Matt. I keep thinking it was Nick, but it was Matt. Sorry, Matt called the fact that it was Pietro, just some random guy living in that neighborhood. That's so stupid. But he called it. Congratulations. But I'm gonna hand you over to Nick. What do you think?
All right. So this is the second issue out of the whole series where I actually had to write down notes because I'm going to warn you guys. I don't think anyone really liked this episode, but I kind of dug it. I kind of dig it. Like, I really wish there would have been more and we had some climactic thing, but obviously they kept outdoing us all season long. They had to underdo it. They're going to be underwhelming. There was no avoiding it. I knew it was going to happen eventually. But the way, so as you said about Pietro being some random guy, I did enjoy how they explained that and how this whole time, the last 3 episodes, I've been like, where's Agatha's husband that she keeps referencing? Where is this guy? Where is this guy? Well, he wasn't her husband. It was the guy that was Pietro the whole time, which I thought was like a very funny and like very clever way to use the actor from X-Men to be Pietro while also not being Pietro. Because I didn't know how they were going to do that. How are they going to bring this character in that everyone knows is Quicksilver, him have the powers, be Quicksilver, and then just be some random guy that happens to be this actor? The way they introduced it or explained it was really clever for me because I didn't think they would have a good way of doing it, but they were just going to leave it as a cliffhanger. Dude, I enjoyed that. I thought that was clever. The Vision fight, how it ended in talking, I thought was a very clever way to do that, and how they ended up in the library was really interesting. I didn't, what other place for 2 super smart robots or whatever they are to just be floating around spinning in a library talking and discussing. I thought that was really well done. I thought that was this episode did a lot of things that I thought were very clever. The dialogue between Agatha and Scarlet Witch during the fight itself was underwhelming, but I liked the dialogue, and I loved how she used the rune trick on her, and then the final costume was phenomenal. And what else do I have? A lot of us said this, like, sprinkled throughout, but we said that Agatha wasn't going to be good or bad. Like, she's not the villain. She isn't the big bad. And I feel like we got that answer. She's not a big bad. She's just a selfish person that wanted power. And it wasn't because she was going to like, oh, I'll help you. I'll control it. I'll give you whatever you want. Whatever. She just wanted the power. She didn't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
We got the glimpses of the photon powers. And I I thought that the ice cream truck slamming into the van was really cool, and at the end of that episode was the first time I realized the joke about how when Wanda turned the sword camp into a circus, it was basically a joke that that um that the sword soldiers and everything were clowns.
That's what Nuno was saying.
And I didn't
Yeah.
realize that, like it didn't click in my head until she was like, I was like, oh, she just calling them a bunch of clowns. That was really like that just clicked as it was being undone. I was like, wait a minute. And then the two end credit scenes. I thought that was a really good way to wrap up the episode and the series, and give us cliffhangers, kind of. Um, that cabin at the end of the second one looks really familiar.
Hulk.
Is it Hulk?
I was getting Wolverine vibes.
I
don't know
couldn't.
why.
I couldn't understand if it was Hulk or if it was Winter Soldier.
And so I was gonna say it gave me two vibes. It gave me Winter Soldier and it gave me Hulk, Edward Norton Hulk vibes.
Yeah, but that was in like the middle of like South Africa, right? Or South America.
Yeah, for sure. I just mean that cabin
Yeah.
just gave me that idea. But when Manny said Wolverine, it fucking gave me Wolverine vibes, dude. So hard.
The movie Logan, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I got initially.
Yeah.
I liked how they tied it into the whole galactic stuff, introducing the Skrull, and saying, "Hey, a friend of your mother's wants to see you," and she's like, "Where?" And she just goes,
Hey, who do you think that friend is? Do you think it's gonna be either Nick Fury or Talos?
It's not gonna be Nick. I don't think Nick Fury was friends with the mother. Maybe, but I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's got to be like a powerful Skrull.
Okay.
I'm thinking the base that we saw, and the reason we all didn't like the sword setup and headquarters is because that's not sword headquarters. The sword headquarters are up in space, and you'll never be able to see them, and that's why they were out of the sight of all the movies. And we'll see them in the future now. It's run by Skrulls, Kree, humans. Everybody's there that's working together.
There's a name. What's the sword station called?
The orbital. No, it's called Sword Station.
Is it a sword station? Yeah, it looks
It's
like a sword in the hilt.
Yeah, it's a sword. It's gonna be it's in space. That's basically where they're going, to the original what her mom made. Her mom didn't make that little headquarters stuff. That's like some fake shit that they made.
They could just be talking about Captain Marvel as well, just because Captain Marvel was the best
friend of the mother.
I thought it was Talos, for real.
I was thinking Nick Fury, just because.
He was gonna pop up, right? Like from the corner.
I don't know about all that. Sorry to detract from you, Nick.
No, I'm done. I'm at the end of my list. I was just talking about the end credit scenes. Yeah, no, that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys is what they mean, because I thought it was interesting how we zoom in and we see Wanda just sitting on the porch and she goes to pour more tea. She's drinking tea, then she goes to pour more tea. I'm like, what is going on? Then she's just sitting in the bedroom.
It's like the Doctor Strange scene where he was sleeping, but his mind was still reading the.
Yeah, they're doing like Dr. Manhattan. They're copying DC.
No,
astral projection.
Yeah,
astral projection. That's the word I was trying to find.
And then you hear the kids screaming. So I feel like that's gonna tie into the Doctor Strange movie.
Mephisto.
So before you hand it off to Carlo, just to put you kind of in the spot. Well, what was your favorite part of the series, of this episode? What was your favorite
of
part?
This episode? I think I think the kids, when they stopped all the bullets and they knocked all the guys out. I liked that, and I liked the parts of the fight scenes between Wanda and Agatha and Vision and White Vision. And I'm excited to see where White Vision went.
Okay.
All right, Carlo, take it.
All right, I'll take it. So I was so excited when Pietro was like again in the scene.
So I felt like I was let down. It's just some random guy named Ralph Boner. Like, what? Like, no, I
Boner.
wanted X-Men Pietro. I didn't want some random dude. Like, what is this? So this is my face when I found out that it was uh, just a random dude. But I did like that Ralph is explained because throughout the whole season, I was thinking, who the hell is Ralph? Is it the stupid bunny? Is it the mailman? Is it who's Ralph? Is it Mephisto? Like I didn't know, and it's the person that lived in that house, Ralph, the husband. So yeah, to that, but big disappointed because I really wanted X-Men Pietro. Um, so I really liked that Wanda acknowledges that Agatha taught her something, like in the comic books, because in the comic books, Agatha is a mentor to Wanda. And I was like, oh, come on. There has to be at least some reference because it's comic book. It's like literature. It's scripture. And so when she said, "Oh, thank you for teaching me that," I was like, "Yes, I like that reference, and also like that she used Agatha's own trick on her. Like oh, that's the what she had in her basement." Um, and so Agatha. So when she had that whole song, it was Agatha all along, and it's like, wait a minute, that they're not Disney's not gonna or Marvel whatever, they're not gonna just tell us. There has to be some other big guy or big evil thing. So I was really thinking Dormammu, and I was kind of upset that it wasn't him, or like I don't know, like Agatha isn't really that bad because she wanted to free Westville's residents. So I, I think it would have been better if Wanda was the villain, and we got a hint of that towards the end when people were like coming up to her and she was like ashamed of herself, like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go away to the cabin in the middle of nowhere because I've been a bad girl." So yeah, I think if there was more emphasis put on Wanda being the villain, it would have been better. Yeah, I would spank the crap out of her. Anyway, let's keep it PG. PG-13. So Photon, she is like Captain Marvel in like level of powers and badass. So when all she did was absorb some bullets, I was like, "What? You're a lot more better than that, Photon." I wanted to see some Photon badass and like her getting involved with helping Vision or helping Wanda, helping the damn kids, anybody. Photon, help somebody, do something. You have all these special powers, use them up. But no, I just took 2 bullets for 2 kids that would have been able to take care of it anyway. So she basically did nothing. Thanks a lot, Photon. I don't know, just a waste of powers, just a waste of a great actress, just a waste of like good story writing, just a fucking big waste of everything.
It's gonna open up to something,
Amen.
and she doesn't really know how to use her powers yet because she doesn't fully grasp them.
Negative. She had a whole 5 episodes to figure it out. Oh boy. You're right. You see these superheroes in one episode, the next episode they already flying and catching airplanes and stuff. Come on, man, get with it.
Yeah, but it's 5 episodes in the span of like a day.
Hey, look, she got a few hours, boy. She better get with it.
Yeah. So again, when she was fighting Quicksilver, like Photon, come on, you're gonna let a little boop knock you down, but man, whatever. And also, I'm not sure if I liked Pietro's necklace glowing. Like, let me use my Photon X-ray power so I can see what's keeping you under control. If it was like an Agatha, like a symbol, like something from the Darkhold book with that symbol, like, okay, this is what's controlling you. But no, it's a glowing necklace. It's like, come on. No. Another big disappointing thing. So at the end, when you have Photon going into the theater, I was excited. It's like, okay, this show is gonna pick up, and I'm gonna be a happy camper. But no, it's just a stupid scroll. It's like I didn't want a stupid scroll. I wanted Nick Fury. I wanted Reed Richards. I wanted somebody. But it's just a stupid scroll. It's like, what? No. Look, I wanted this person. It doesn't have to be John Krasinski.
You had that ready. You had that issue ready.
Yeah, because I had to make a reference because this is Artgerm. Artgerm is one of my favorite artists. Him and Cho. But anyway, I think it was a wasted opportunity. No. Oh, and like the big cameo was Darcy in an ice cream truck for 2 seconds. Like what? Darcy, thanks for smashing Hayward's truck. But that's it. It's like 2 seconds of Darcy. Nah, I don't know.
Have fun in jail.
The big
Yeah, like that was a big cameo. I mean, I know technically it's not a cameo, but I want like X-Men Quicksilver type of cameo, something that will make me jump out of my couch. But nothing made me jump out of the couch when the first time White Vision appeared, like out of nowhere. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna see fireworks. But all I saw was them play laser tag and a little forehead touch. Like, man, what a waste! I wanted like that action. I know WandaVision is a
Such tips.
story, but come on, and that's what I liked about Spider-Man 3. You had Venom, you had this, you had it's like fighting.
No.
I love him off. I don't know about you guys, but Spider-Man 3 was a good movie in my book, my comic book. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say about this disappointing
This is
episode.
the last time we see Carlos corner. All right, just letting y'all know.
This episode 10. This is episode 10. Fucking your kids are 10.
Not anymore. Yeah, this one got like, I'll tell you later.
Nuno, what's up?
Hey, so yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple and short because I'm not with all the details because all the details were very cheaply done in this episode. So I'll save that for someone else because I'm not with it. But I will say the CGI was horrible, guys. Come on, let's all be real. When Vision was the only cool CGI was like the falling scenes. Like when he hits the street, that's dope. Like he's like, he's like falling apart. So they got like, I guess, cement CGI right. I guess they really didn't get anything else right. When they're fighting with each other and grabbing each other, it's like, it really looks like fake. Like, the best scene of the entire series, I think, is ironically a Brightburn scene. It's when the little kid has the hood on and he has his eyes glowing and he's up in the sky and it's all like cloudy, raining and like smoky, and an airplane is coming to hit him and he just hits the airplane head on. That's the same scene when Wanda's just floating there, like with her eyes all red and she's all like dark. It's like a shot for shot scene for Brightburn. That's like a superhero movie. If you guys have ever seen it, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Check it out. But that was a dope scene. Like I love that particular scene right there. Very corny. She made her own ruins. That's obvious. Clearly, the entire time you were in her ruins. So little house shouldn't have even been active if you're inside of her ruins. So how can another witch, make ruins inside of another ruin? You know what I mean?
The ruins are the actual symbols, and Wanda didn't do the symbols when she made her head.
Yeah, until later on. That's what she was throwing the burst and missing her. She's drawing the runes on purpose.
Yeah, that's that. If I gotta look into it like that, it's not meant to be. You know what I mean? But what I'm gonna say is kids super corny. Evan Peters wasted talent. Made him a boner joke, guys. Come on, man. Boner joke. You know what I mean? Like, I loved Photon throughout the whole episode, but like Carlos said, this episode she was poorly used. Definitely, like, come on, we could have given her like a killer ass role. Like she could have been like phasing through Vision and shut him down, like absorb his energy or something. Like that would have been cool. Like, or he tries to fly through her. But overall, I mean, and again, the ending scene, another like DC inspired scene, like Dr. Manhattan walking everywhere. Now we got Wanda all of a sudden walking everywhere. So it's like, like spend all that money and no real creativity. And like you said, like, I don't know, man, I wasn't feeling it. Overall, it gave the whole series a great ending as far as the whole story goes. I mean, she 1 minute can't get over her losing her family, but like 30 seconds later, she's getting rid of all of them. I mean, I'm not gonna judge. You know what I mean? That's to each his own. If you can give up your kids within 5 minutes, then you probably never had them. You know what I mean? But anyways, so the finale was nicely rounded for the whole series as a whole. It rounded it out nicely. I just had a lot of problems with like certain things, and I wish it would have just been, I guess, a little more. That's about it. But I mean, it did round out the whole series. I will admit it. I can't lie. It did what it was supposed to do. It ended it in a way where you understood everything. No crazy cliffhangers. And I just thought it was weird. I just want to add this, that she was reading like the devil's book, the satanic book, because like she's into dark arts now, kind of like weird, you know. But I just thought that too. Not a bad thing, but I just wanted to point that out. But that's about it, guys. Yeah. But like I said,
I forgot to ask this of Carlo, and then after Carlo, Nuno, and then everybody else as well. Like, but finish off with your favorite either scene from the whole series or your favorite scene from this episode. Carlo, what was your favorite?
So my favorite scene was when Pietro was introduced. That's the scene that got me the most excited. I loved the camera work when it was like slowly going around the head, and I was just had all this momentum built up, and I like, fuck, it's X-Men Pietro, but at the end, it's not. It's just some random boner guy. Is like, what a waste, man! Like you could have had so much other storyline or something. I don't know. It's just no, but yeah, that was my favorite scene.
mine had to be. I'd look at it as a whole, and it would have to be. I don't recall what episode it was previously, but we see it in the last episode when they fall in love when they're sitting on the couch in the room. But I think it's in the same episode, and it's ironic that it's in the same episode. Is when she gets exposed to the Soul Stone, and she falls in love with Vision. So she was always attracted to the Soul Stone. So like, you know, if Iron Man had the Soul Stone in his head, like she would have been attracted to Iron Man because she was always exposed to the Soul Stone and they had a connection. It bridged them. So that like sequence of scenes, I thought it was killer. Like showing you their real, like how deep their relationship goes.
It's pretty interesting. I didn't think about it like that. It's cool. I like that. Carlos, what was your review?
So for me, I was initially very worried that in 50 minutes they were not going to be able to wrap everything up and that it was going to feel rushed, that it was going to feel forced, but it didn't feel like that at all. When the 50 minutes were over, I was thinking, where did the time go? But I think with the storyline, I think the storyline that they were trying to tell ultimately was told. We saw Wanda go through all of her stages of grief, and touching on the point that Nuno said, where she just easily gave up her kids and easily gave up Vision. I didn't take it as her easily giving it up. I took it as her accepting that she was doing damage to the people around her. And you saw that she came to that realization when Agatha broke the control that she had over the citizens of the people of Westview, and she finally accepted her grief. She had the closure and the moment that she needed to have, with Vision and with her kids, and she accepted the fact that uh, she can't hurt other people in order for her, to be happy. And that's why at the very end, when she had that scene with Monica when she's walking, away, and everyone is staring at her, and she throws on her hoodie, where Monica mentions to her, she says, "They're never gonna know what you gave up, for them." And what I really enjoyed about this episode is that we got to see, Wanda uh, end the journey that she started in terms of finally accepting, the grief in her life. So I really enjoyed that about this episode. Touching on the CGI, there were plenty of moments during the fights and during the CGI that it was a little jarring, but immediately there were moments that were really good, and I loved seeing Wanda uh, finally get her suit and finally become the Scarlet Witch. So that to me is my favorite. Actually, it's actually my favorite scene in the whole show. Seeing that transformation, into the Scarlet Witch, seeing her have her headdress on, like it was just epic. It was super epic, and I think that they did an amazing job with her costume. It pays tribute to the comic books, and it pays tribute to her being established as a prominent character in the MCU. So I really love that. Um, Another moment that I really enjoyed was the fight and the interaction between Vision and White Vision. I know that a lot of people like Nuno and Carlo are wanting a Michael Bay directed type of action scene between all of the fight scenes, but at the end of the day, the conversation that Vision had with White Vision and bringing up the idea of the ship of Theseus, when you think about it, Vision at the end of the day is a construct of the Mind Stone, and having a discussion and being able to reason with White Vision using logical thinking, using his mind, using the power of thought. I thought that was really brilliant, to be honest, and I thought that Vision's humanity was really shown in that interaction that they had, and at the end of the day, I think that that's Vision's ultimate goal, is to be as human as possible. So I love that interaction. Um,
In
I
a
also really
fucking
enjoy
library.
in a library. Like it's great. I thought that th- there's been a lot of amazing symbolism throughout the show, and I think that for the most part they've really done a wonderful job of incorporating that.
To your
Huh?
point of vision, trying to be like human. In the last episode, one of my favorite parts of that was when he laughs at something on the TV in the sitcom, and he looks at her like like as for approval. Like that was funny, right? That was funny. Yeah, I
Exactly.
laughed. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I really enjoyed now looking at the show in its entirety. One thing that really impressed me about the season is that if you think about it, Elizabeth Olsen played 8 different characters, maybe, you know, like 9. She played various roles, and I can't think of an episode where she didn't absolutely, just nail it. From being, a 50s, 60s, housewife to, being a modern, parent when we got into finally like, the 90s, 2000s, from being, someone that's just absolutely overtaken by grief. And then in this episode, seeing her transform into into the badass Scarlet Witch, and her feeling confident and powerful. She's just displayed this huge range of emotion, of acting ability, and the same goes to Vision. Even though we only got to see White Vision briefly, wow, I thought that seeing Paul Bettany play this like TV sitcom dad character, and then transitioning immediately into the Vision that we know, and then in this episode, seeing him transition into the White Vision, not showing emotion, or showing anger, showing violence. It's just amazing to me, and I really appreciate the actors range, and I appreciate the fact that they were able to convincingly portray all of these different roles. So I love that about this entire episode, and the season in general. um Another thing that I enjoyed was the overall setup for the Doctor Strange movie and for what's gonna go forward. I'm perfectly okay that we didn't get to see Mephisto, that we didn't get to see maybe Dormammu, whatever, because like I've been saying for a while, this is a story about Wanda. This is a story about us exploring who she is as a character, and I feel like we got that. And now we get to see Wanda, with the Darkhold. I don't necessarily see that as her becoming evil and her wanting to, study dark arts and all of that stuff. I think that because Agatha referenced, hey, you're the Scarlet Witch. Your story is basically in this book. I think that Wanda just really wants to find out, like, who am I? What does this book have to do with me? And the fact that we see her in her astral form, the way that we see Doctor Strange in his astral form, just cements her as being a true magic being, and I love that. And the fact that we get confirmation that she is a witch, she does, use chaos magic. It's just all of these, things that tie back to her comic book origins, and I appreciate that so much. I love it. And what's really cool, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the picture of in the book in the Darkhold, the image, it's basically like a representation of her being in her astral form at the very end, with like all of the magic glyphs or I don't know, runes or whatever they are, and her like basically absorbing this knowledge, and it's in the form of a hex. And I think that, and that's where all of the symbols that we've seen throughout the show, that's where they come from. So it's, I feel like everything was just tied together very well. So those are all the things that I really enjoy. Oh, one last actual scene that I really enjoyed was the very last scene when Wanda puts the twins to bed, and she has that final interaction with Vision. I mean, it was touching. Like, yeah, is it, can it be cheesy? Can it be corny? It can, but it didn't feel forced. It really didn't, and that's tying back to the acting that I appreciate from Paul Bettany and from Elizabeth Olsen. If you really think about it, it's heart wrenching. Her coming to terms with her grief, and I think that that's something that us as people, if we've experienced grief, I think that we can relate. That it gets to the point where you kind of have to accept what has happened, but it doesn't mean that you can't appreciate the memories and the experiences that you had. And I think that that's what Wanda took from that, and that's why she basically tells Vision that he was a representation of her love. And I think that this idea of Wanda and Vision truly caring for each other, I thought it was just a really beautiful scene, with her and the twins and Vision. So those are all my positives. Some of the dislikes that I did have, I really did feel a little, that it was cheap with the whole fake Pietro stuff. I get where they were coming from. I feel like they were being super meta about it, because that was one of the points of the TV shows, of having the TV show setting. So it was like super meta, but it felt cheap. It felt cheap. We all expected Evan Peters to really cement the fact that the X-Men, or that there's alternate universes. Not that that's not coming, but it just felt like a cheap shot because it hyped up everybody. I mean, it just hyped it. It got me super excited, and like everyone's saying, for it to be thrown away on like a dick joke, it
was a dick move.
it hit a nerve. It hit a nerve. The big cameo. I'm not super upset about that, because Paul Bettany did end up, owning up to the fact that it was a joke. The big cameo was himself, and from a hilarity point, it's pretty fucking funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny. It's funny. It didn't feel as cheap as the fake Pietro stuff. So that was one of my big complaints. Aside from that, I really can't say that there was, anything else. Again, poor CGI here and there, but overall, the fight scenes were great. Uh, the Pietro stuff felt a little, cheap. Um, and as far as the scroll, I'm not super big on I guess being upset about that, because I think that that's just a nice little throwaway that, hey, there's more coming to Photon, to Monica Rambeau. Could she have been used better? Definitely. Do I think that she was underused? Absolutely. But again, like Nuno Carlo, you expecting her, to be, like, I guess, yeah, dude, like,
What are you, dating her or something? What are you,
Bro.
boyfriend?
bro, I'm just saying, you guys,
What are you, some kind of tough guy over there, Carlos?
bro, Nuno and Carlos are expecting Monica Rambeau to be like
A Rambo.
the equivalent, dude. The equivalent of Michael Jordan in his first season with the Bulls, already fucking winning a championship. Like, you gotta give her some time.
Come on, bro. If you're not going LeBron, if you're not going to LeBron James it straight out of high school into NBA, don't do it. Don't do it.
It took LeBron James forever to win a championship. I'm just saying.
What's that, Carlos?
And bro, he couldn't even win it for Cleveland.
You must be a Knicks fan or something. You sound like a Knicks fan.
In his first go around, he had to leave.
Like a Knicks fan over there, Carlos.
I'm just saying.
They have 5 episodes of building up Photon. Ooh, she has glowing eyes. Ooh, she can do this with her hands.
I got a contact on the mountain.
For her to take you in the gut.
This is not a show. This was not called Photon Vision. It was called WandaVision. It was not.
Hey, Carlo, let's just
romance, not a soap opera. If I wanted lovey-dovey stuff, I would read a book with fucking Fabio on the cover. But no, this is comic books. I want my
turned on telenovela. It would have been better.
Shit, man.
You're saying you guys are wrong. It's fine. I think that you guys are gonna go through your stages of grief the same way that one did.
I'm just gonna Carlos, I got your back, Carlos.
Fine.
Carlos, I got your back. You guys are gonna regret that when the next cosmic movie comes out, and Photon, everything that they did right now is a build-up for that, and she comes flying out with an army of scrolls, and she kicks some ass. This is a build-up. This is a character development. You can't just introduce a. You know what? Look at freaking the comics. A character is cameoed, referenced. Then they have their first appearance. Then they have a storyline, and then a story arc, and then they're a badass. It doesn't happen in the first issue. They don't introduce a character, and then you know everything about them, and they're the biggest character ever. You have to build it. We met this person as a child. Then we meet them as an adult. We see them develop and get their powers. And now we're going to see the buildup of them into a main story where they are incorporated.
First time I've ever been introduced to Damian Wayne, he killed a couple people. I didn't even know who Damian Wayne was. He already killed a couple people.
All right, he is an exception to the rule.
To fully really get you guys to understand. So Nuno and Carlo are our old heads. So for you guys to understand, what's her name? Monica did not get a montage moment, so she can't learn all her things. There's no montage. It is not Rambo. It's not Rocky or anything.
Rocky?
So with no montage, there is no learning. Sorry.
And Nuno, how many issues was Damian in the story before he became Robin?
I liked him way more as Damian anyway, so I hated him as Robin.
What do you mean? He was the Robin, the Dick Grayson Batman. It was the greatest thing ever.
I'm telling you, when he was with the League of Assassins and his granddaddy and his mama.
You go tell that to Grant Morrison. I want you to come back to me and tell him what.
If he continued writing like that, he'd be in a better place probably.
Carlos.
To sum up.
He did 3 giant volumes worth of Batman.
Listen.
What was your favorite part, Carlos?
Yeah, and this is my favorite part. I have 2 of them actually. I mentioned her finally getting her suit, absorbing all of the power, turning into the Scarlet Witch. Beautiful shot. My second favorite scene actually happened in the same episode. that's when wait, no, sorry, last episode, where you know, you see her construct the house, and when you get that shot when it first goes into black and white during the 50s or 60s, she has, you know, like her dress, the getup, all of that stuff, and Vision is there, and the look that she gives him, and when Vision says, you know, Wanda, and they sit down to like start watching TV, fuck man, beautiful. Like it was just it was just great. And that brings me to my overall favorite, you know, I guess thing about the show and the scene. It's what this show has done, not just for Wanda, but for the MCU in general. I think it's proven that Marvel can do character development and they can do it well, and that they care about these characters and they care about the comic book origins that they have, and they want to pay respect and tribute to these characters. um I don't think that an argument can be made that there's been better development and a better focus on a character so far than Wanda and Vision so far. Let's be honest, Wanda and Vision have not been the favorites of I you know, many people since the MCU started, but I think that there are more people that are going to be willing to defend Wanda and Vision because of this show than they're willing to defend, you know, Hawkeye, Black Widow, you know, the Hulk, maybe even Iron Man. To be honest with you, certain people, and I think that that's a testament to what this show has done, and that's what I loved about this show. That it really was a journey. We saw it from the beginning to end, and it made you feel. It wasn't just, you know, let's tear shit up, let's fucking have action. It had some of that, but this was a story. This was a character arc, and that's what I love about the show. So sorry that it took so long. I just had a lot to say about this episode, and there's even more stuff that, you know, I can go on and on about. But these are the main topics, and yeah, I'll just close it out with that. Nuno and Carlo are wrong. Matt, what's up, man? What do you got?
Mr.
Oh,
Right.
I won't go. I won't go into.
He's
too much
lucky
into
my
the
internet is glitchy, or I'll tear him up right now.
Yeah, you guys have gone over everything, so I'll just if you hover over my box here, you'll see it's not Matt, my name, it's Mr. Right, because that's what this episode proved. I said we'll get Agatha first Wanda, which we know was obvious, so let's just tick that off the list. I said Vision on Vision. We got Vision on Vision. Let's tick that off the list. I said Haywood versus Monica, you know, and then no one said that last week. I got that right. Let's tick that off the list. Pietro was a random dude and wasn't
God damn it, I
Quicksilver.
gotta give you that one.
Okay, let's tick that one off the list.
Thought that was
The
good.
kids weren't real.
Well, we knew they weren't real, but
Okay, let's tick that off the list.
Didn't you say, Matt? Like I quote, I reckon Mephisto or Dorama is not even involved.
Yep, I was right.
Wait a minute. I've been saying this from the beginning that they weren't going to be in the show. If anyone's going to be an anti-Mephisto person, it's me.
hold on.
Matt, give Nick the star for the Mephisto. Man. He's gonna kill us. He's gonna slaughter us.
That's not quite right, though. That's not quite right. At the very end, I have to jump in here. At the very end, we hear Billy scream out, "Mom!"
Yeah, because they're in hell, and then she's gonna have to go to hell and save them. I know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, but it's not in the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
That's fair. Agreed.
It could be anyone. It could be a brand new character we don't even know about.
And then at the end, could something? You know what, Manny? I want you. What happened to Agatha at the end?
She was a bad guy the whole time.
She's gonna be used to teach other people more now.
What happened?
She's the annoying neighbor.
She turned good. So let's tick off that off the list. Matt was right about Agatha. Okay. Because she became good at the end of the day.
She didn't have a choice.
She became good. Whether she had a choice or not had a choice, she became good.
Matt never said how she's gonna become good.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
But I think Vision, however, I like the scene with Vision without talking. I know a lot of people prefer the big action, and we did get the Vision from some like film clip. I don't know. I can't remember. I remember some bloody cheeky film clip where the car blew in the background and he's just, walking
like a Terminator scene. It was like a fake ass Terminator scene.
So I think he's passed on his memories though to White Vision because the one thing that I didn't like about this this episode is that it leaves a lot of unanswered question, and I think Paul Bettany, I forget how to say his last name. I think he probably copped a lot of heat when he said on that interview there's going to be a big cameo. I reckon as soon as the camera stopped rolling, they were like, "What the were you saying? What the hell are you talking about? Everyone's going to have these high expectations." That's why I reckon he came out at the end and thought, shit, I'll say I'm joking now instead of saying that he was joking, because then everyone would expect more because they're like, oh, hang on, he's trying to hide that there's a cameo, So I guess he waited to the end to say I'm joking. I guess he screwed up there, and less someone did, and they took it off the chopping block. I'll put it on the chopping block. I don't know, but I feel that because there was so much build up that this episode, this season finale, just didn't really hit the nail on the head. Like, I know that it's got to lead into a whole other stuff, but I just didn't really think it hit the nail on the head. The post-credit scenes, now I know everyone's like the scrolls and all that. I think that like, I'm not too knowledgeable with my Marvel, but I reckon because isn't Secret Invasion's got scrolls and all that involved? Is that right? Or because I reckon maybe that post-credit scene is going to end into Secret Invasion, because there's a show Secret Invasion, or they're doing a movie Secret Invasion.
A show.
So I reckon that might lead into there,
which is
or
stupid. Worst crossover event ever done.
Or it might lead into there, or it might lead into Captain Marvel 2. I just think that it's going to lead into somewhere. Yes, I do. I hate to say this, agree with Carlo. And
how do you do a scroll story without the Fantastic Four? That's just stupid.
No, Nick, you're gonna love it. Trust me, bro. You're gonna love this one. Trust me, they're gonna hit every one of your points.
This is one of the reasons I stopped reading comic books in the mid 2000s.
This is the Nick I like.
They might change it. They might.
WandaVision sucked.
WandaVision was great. I hope this leads to the Shi'ar and we get the X-Men, and I hope we get fucking Gladiator punching people in the face. I hope we get all sorts of crazy space battles. If they do Secret Invasion and all these characters are freaking scrolls, first off, they're not going to do it right. Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Wright, but
no, you're right.
They're not going to do it right because half the characters that they need to do the story correctly don't exist. The first character that they cut open and find out is a scroll is Elektra. She doesn't exist. Like, you need to have all these characters established to have it. Okay, so 5 characters of scrolls. Dude, you got like 10 characters, you got 15 characters. The reason why it was such a big impact is that half of the Marvel Universe were scrolls. So you had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of characters that were now not those characters, and you had them coming back from like different time periods, had been frozen in time, and it was such a big thing. And I thought they did that poorly. And they put a lot of time and effort into it, and I thought they did that poorly. Imagine them doing it without the character development, without the character backgrounds, without the proper rosters. It's without the Fantastic Four fully established. Like, the Skrulls are a product of the Fantastic Four. They came out of the Fantastic Four. It's like when they did Vision. When they did Vision and they did Ultron, they said Iron Man made Ultron. Bullshit. It was Ant-Man. You just introduced Ant-Man. You introduced Henry Pym after Ultron. Garbage. Nonsense. Doesn't make sense. First off, your movie about Ant-Man isn't even the first Ant-Man. It's the second Ant-Man. You introduced Wasp. It's not even the original Wasp. Like,
yo, chop this video up. I need this rant. I need these highlights.
I'm sorry, I haven't really ranted in this whole review series, but I'm going off right now. I'm sorry, but like, this is like, I like this show, and I hope it leads to things being done right. But if they use this as an excuse to do shit bullcrap and do the Marvel special where they like ruin a good thing when it's doing great, like, oh, let's do the Clone Saga. Oh, let's put it for like 3 years. Let's go for 3 years long. Don't screw up a good thing. You have a great amount of movies. They're great. You haven't really gotten a rotten egg yet. Like, you've been close, but you haven't. Don't screw it up. Don't screw it.
Why are you scared that they're gonna screw it up if they haven't gotten any rotten eggs?
Because they're gonna do a storyline that some people didn't like.
They're gonna do something like WandaVision again, and there you go. There you go.
let me just tick Nick's not watching Secret Invasion off on my list here. Okay.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go decompress.
Shit, Nick, you got enough hate for all of us for these shows. God damn. I started liking WandaVision after I heard Nick's rant. I'm like, WandaVision's not that bad. Hey, Matt, what's up, though, man? Finish it.
Wow. Obviously, I'm not going to mention Secret Invasion again, to be honest, but that triggered a spot. But and then the final post-credit scene that I can finally get to with Wanda, I think she might lead into a bad, like another thing that I'll probably be right on. That I think she's going to lead into a bad in the multiverse. She's going to she's going to let the evil powers take over her, and I think it's going to be about her trying to take control. Or I can see, hearing her kids screaming. I can see her, going into hell or making a deal or something. I think something like that's going to happen. She's going to be bad, but she's not going to be intentionally bad. But one thing, my favorite part of this whole series, and I can't believe it has to happen right at the end of the series, but my favorite part was Wanda becoming her Scarlet Witch, purely for the fact we go and see some girlies dressed up as cosplay. I think it's going to be pretty dope seeing people dress up as that, men or women, hey? But yeah, that's about it I've got to say on this show. But it's just a lot of unanswered questions, man. A lot of unanswered questions, which I know are going to lead into other shows and other movies. I think this was just the setup to, it's set up the movies and it's set up the TV shows. That's what this season has been for. But yeah, I feel sorry for everyone that really had to build up on good old Pietro there. That was probably, I think, the biggest kick in the stomach for everyone. But it's just Marvel being Marvel, and I think X-Men are I thought if X-Men weren't getting introduced now, I think we're going to be waiting a while. I think we'll be waiting a while. So don't hold your breath on the X-Men, guys. But yeah, Manny, what you got, boy?
That note, I mean, the mutants have been announced, kind of. I don't know. Carlos can probably talk more about that.
Yeah.
But it has.
Well, then she's had her power. Like I said last week, she's had her powers this whole time. So technically, is it a mutant power or is it? Because then Pietro obviously had it the whole time as well. Then
she is not a mutant technically in the comics right now. Pietro, yes, but her, it's
so maybe the Mind Stone. Is it the Mind Stone or the Salt? What stone is it? Yellow one? Is it the Mind Stone? Maybe that triggers some DNA in people to bring in their mutant powers. I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, it's a lot of unanswered questions. But go, Manny, what you were saying?
No, so I was gonna say a couple of things that I noticed when Agatha and the Wanda are fighting. There's a billboard behind Agatha, and of course, there's references everywhere. So I had to stop and I had to look. I paused it, and the billboard behind her, it says like something about like a spray cleaner or whatever, but it's using the power of Earth. So that kind of tells me like if it is a reference, if it's something, power of Earth, I get Gaia off of that. Is Wanda using Gaia? Is that where her source of power is? I don't know. But honestly, I didn't really see anything past that. But Agatha stood in front of that billboard for a long time, so I'm like, I wonder if that's gonna be something in the future. So if it does come up later in the future, you heard it here first. My main thing that I wanted to say about this episode was that the chemistry between Hex Vision and White Vision is horrible. Chemistry is horrible. So I don't know why the fuck that Paul Bettany said, "Oh, you're gonna love it. The chemistry between us it's great. The cameo is amazing." Blah blah. No, it's a horrible chemistry. No, I hated it. The fact that as soon as we realized that he was talking about himself, thought that was pretty messed up. But he does make up with it. With my favorite part of the whole series in this episode was how you guys have been talking about the fight between Vision and White Vision. As soon as Vision put him in a headlock and said, "But I'm not the Vision. I'm a conditional Vision." As soon as he said conditional Vision, I knew that it wasn't going to be a fight. I loved it. I appreciated it. I like the fact that one of the main things I liked about WandaVision is that it doesn't need to be action, 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 and then that's MCU, that's everything, that's a Marvel movie, and this is following the formula. This was a let's talk this out. We don't need to fight right now. Let me tell you why we don't need to fight, and then White Vision saying, elaborate, please. That was great. That was amazing. I loved it, and the whole discussion about Theseus Shiv. I feel smarter just listening to that because it was a great discussion. But then it was ruined just by the fact that Vision gets his memories back and he runs away. Like, where did he go? That's one of my questions for at the end. Like, why did he just run away? If he truly got all these memories back, why didn't he run straight back to Wanda, protect her from Agatha, protect the kids? Because of the same memories, he would want to protect his kids, right? That's just a negative on my part. Another negative I will say is that I didn't like that Agatha said Scarlet Witch is more powerful than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme. There's no way that she's more powerful, but the more I think about it, it is pretty evenly matched. And I know that Wiccan does become Sorcerer Supreme in the comics in the future. So it kind of makes sense. But I just don't like that comment. I didn't like that at all.
I think it's because her powers are more wild than his, and his are more controlled. That she could do something crazier than him because she can let go and he can't.
Yeah, she's got that chaos magic, which what Agatha is saying is that she's going to destroy the world. You have no idea what you release into this world. So that's probably definitely going to come into play with Doctor Strange too.
And real quick, I feel like that's foreshadowing to what I mentioned, that I truly believe that Wanda is gonna break reality.
Yep. Yeah. The next thing I really didn't like was, again, Jimmy Woo not being the bad guy, but Jimmy Woo,
dude.
No, dude, Jimmy Woo, when he was chained, he's arrested, he's got his hands handcuffed behind his back, and he sees the phone. Nobody else. There's so many soldiers behind him. Nobody else is gonna see him pick up that phone. Come on, that's come on. There's no way. And he just
wait. What do people not have passcodes on their phones?
Yeah, that's not his phone. That is.
It's a secret intelligence place, and there's no
I
passcode.
would have knocked him out. Bam.
I don't know. That was ridiculous. And one of my main negatives, though, is the fact that Wanda did not address the civilians. She did not publicly say, "I'm sorry, this is what was happening." She didn't explain herself. The civilians, for some, they know to a certain point what's going on, yes, but she should have at least apologized. At the very minimum, she should have turned around when she was still done talking to Monica and just said, "I'm sorry for what I did. Won't bother you again. Blah blah blah. I'm leaving. Who knows what? Watch out for Agatha. She's still a bad witch. Something. Watch out for her because she's a baddie, not a goodie. So
they had Vision and her do the same thing where they just run away, and I feel like that's kind of more to the point because you're so overloaded with this guilt or this emotion or all these memories, and instead of facing them, who faces their problems right on? You freak out and then you do it.
Yeah, exactly. And she just ran away, and that was kind of weak. I did appreciate a couple of references, like the Wizard of Oz reference when Agatha got hit by the car.
Was it something the car? Yeah.
Yeah. And then the nod to the Age of Ultron when Wanda got behind Agatha and she showed up real quick and just did her whole little mind hex thing. That was great. And the last thing that I actually didn't notice it. I saw it on Instagram today, but it was the Quicksilver reference with the kid Speed. He stopped all the soldiers, and when he came back, he's wearing the hat and the glasses of the soldiers, and it showed a picture of movies, and he's wearing one of the hats from the soldiers, and he's got the glasses.
The Pentagon, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Just the fact that he did that. And then going back to Carlo, the fact that Evan Peters just flicked her off, I thought that was great because it really does explain speed. Imagine flicking somebody at the speed of sound, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get pushed away. So that explains that. I like that. It's one of the few times Evan Peters' Quicksilver is like the only time that speed is really used properly. If you're gonna get punched at light speed, you're not just gonna feel it like a regular punch. You're gonna feel it like something just came at you at light speed. The faster something hits you, the worse it hurts. But that's pretty much it. I loved it. I loved the whole series. My favorite part was the whole let's talk it out instead of fighting. My only question is where did White Vision go? Vision. Where's Ultron? We saw the whole like, hey, he's in the credits. James Spader was in the credits. Is that just another something that Marvel did just to troll us? And the main thing at the very beginning when White Vision showed up, how the hell did White Vision get there before Vision? Like Vision was already on his way when White Vision was introduced, and then he just shows up out of nowhere. Like that was ridiculous. I do really. My second favorite part of this episode was when Vision he's about to get disappeared, and he says, we've said goodbye before, so it stands to reason that we'll say hello again. Like that was a beautiful moment, very emotional, very touching, and obviously they are going to say hello again. White Vision's going to show up, hopefully in color, but that was just a good ending for all of that. And I don't know. Is there anything else left to say about this?
I'm good
So
with
wait,
White.
Was there a post credit scene with Ultron at the end?
No.
When she was doing the little hexing or something, they showed a bunch of scenes of Ultron and Avengers fighting them or something, and I think that's where the Ultron credit comes from.
Well, the Ultron credit is from all the flashbacks throughout the series.
Yeah. My final thoughts aren't so much I guess on the show. Oh, I guess they are, but it's the fact that Marvel took a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, this was an experiment. I've never seen anything superhero related done the way that WandaVision was done. It's unique. You have to give them that. And that's what I enjoy. Is that for as formulaic as a Marvel movies can be, because they do follow a certain formula. When you sit down and you watch a Marvel movie, you're watching a Marvel movie, right? But I think this was extremely unique, and I enjoy that. And Marvel is continuing to take risks, and I think that that's paying off. I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy. What they turned into, and how popular they become, and the fact that they were able to pull it off. So from something like Guardians of the Galaxy to taking a chance on Black Panther to now doing an extremely unique show like this and setting up phase 4 of the MCU with all the shows that we're getting and the movies. A lot of people talk about superhero fatigue in general, Marvel fatigue. I don't see that happening anytime soon if Marvel can continue putting out quality shows, quality movies like this, where you can just sit back, you can enjoy it, and it's just nice. And I am extremely happy to be living in a time that we have been living in a time for so long that we get to see these characters, and it's just awesome. So those are my final thoughts on this.
I think that this is a great point that Marvel should focus on the side characters and the B-rated and the underrated characters, because it gives people that aren't familiar with the comic books a chance to connect with a character that there's not as much like about. Because look at Wanda and Vision. There was like what, one or two like old series, and the West Coast Avengers stuff, and that's it. There's not that much reading about them. As like obviously there's years of them being together, but there's not that many individual stories about just them. So
well, and And if there is, they're never long ongoing titles,
No.
right? They're miniseries, they're events. Children's Crusade, Scarlet Witch's, what was it? 15-issue series.
Yeah. So like if you want to
big-
catch up or you want to buy those hardcovers or whatever, you can read that stuff digitally, whatever. You can catch up and it gives people a good jumping on point to get into stuff. Like look at Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a very like it was a popular like a cult favorite series, but like not everybody read Guardians of the Galaxy. And this wasn't even OG Guardians of the Galaxy. This is like volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy that they kind of focus on and they made it. And look how popular Guardians is now. Like because of that, Guardians was not that popular. Like I'm waiting for them to take series like like New Warriors or Thunderbolts or they did the Runaway shows, and I know they're not canon in the MCU, which sucks. But like the Runaways was not like a crazy popular series, and
It still isn't. I mean, it still really isn't.
That's what you
there's,
said
there's
today,
more
right, Nick?
people that
That's
know
what
about
you
it
were
now
talking
because
about
of that,
today.
because of that Hulu series.
Sure.
But I found out about that series when I was in high school. There was Marvel used to do a thing where they take some of their lesser known stuff for some reason, and they would take like the trade paperbacks and they would make them into like mini books, like smaller size, like the size of like a manga. I don't know why, but they did that with Runaways, and I found it in my high school library, and I read Runaways randomly, and I was hooked. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is like a teenage sitcom, like Smallville type comic book about these kids that find out their parents are villains, and then find out they could do stuff and then become heroes and like tangle with the Avengers and like end up in New York City fighting against the Punisher, like weird shit. And I was like, oh, this is sick. And when they turned it into a show, I was like, oh, this is really cool. They need to focus on that stuff because it's really good jumping on points, because you're not going to have, if you mess with characters that are fan favorites, you get the backlash of Nuno and Carlo.
It reminds me another just
That's
like
what I was saying,
why was
Nick.
Jimmy Woo in Westville? Like he was supposed to be looking for somebody missing. Like
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Who the
was it
fuck?
Ralph? I mean, it would have been cool if he was looking for Ralph Boner. Like, okay, that's a missing person. So to tie that in, but why was Jimmy Woo in Westville? It's just very random. Like, explain that he was just passing through Westville. It's like, I'm in the mood to look for a missing person in Westville out of all places. So that could have been explained. And also, who the hell is that astrophysicist Monica knew she was going to text? It was just thrown away. Like, I wanted somebody
The
like
little mama behind you.
she don't look like an astrophysicist. She looks like a fucking alien. And also,
Wasn't it the chick that they met up with? The chick that got
Maybe,
in the
but
car?
she was
It
nobody.
ended up being her. It ended
Oh
up
wait, that was her. There's another reason Matt was right. Tick. Cool. Yeah.
and also, where did White Vision go? It would have been nice if you would have seen like
An after credit with him.
He's building Ultron,
It
guys.
would've been cool
Why
if
would he
went-
build Ultron after seeing all the destruction and the
Daddy
memories?
issues. Daddy
He's
is-
going to go to all the places to remind him of himself. He's going to go to all the places where Vision, where he died, where he was with Wanda. He's going to go to all those places, find out who he is, and become Vision again.
It would have been cool if you see him with the Golden Gate Bridge behind him, like hinting West Coast Avengers, or him going to Hawkeye. Like, hey, Hawkeye, we should start something on the
Ooh,
West Coast.
that could happen after the Hawkeye series, because
Hawkeye
there is a
tracks him down.
Hawkeye show coming.
He tracks
so-
him down. Nice one.
I doubt they would put that they would have that happen before the series, because then it would be not focused on Hawkeye. I feel like at the end of all these shows, there's gonna be something like these characters. Wanda, Vision, Hawkeye, Falcon, Winter Soldier, She-Hulk. Like, there's gonna be some kind of like team.
That's what I'm saying. Young Avengers seems to be the obvious choice. Could be champions. It could be a whole.
I don't
different-
see my problem with that. The only issue I see with it, I agree with everything except where the frick does She-Hulk tie into any of that? It does. She doesn't.
She's a lawyer. She shows up.
I mean, who knows? But
Nick, you were mentioning Runaways. I was talking about Victor Munch, the
Yeah.
Ultron son, and you were just talking about Runaways. So that's funny. I just finished the Vision, the little 12 series one. All you guys should check it out. It's actually pretty good. Victor's in it, and they actually reference like Runaways and a bunch of stuff. So I guess the Vision comic is then canon as well because he's in it and he's referencing Runaways. So it doesn't really.
The the cool thing about this is that Runaways in the mid 2000s had a ton of what's the word, crossovers with Young Avengers. That was like whenever there was an event like Secret Invasion, Civil War, they just tied the two stories together. Because I have a bunch of the trade paperbacks where it's just Runaways and Young Avengers, Runaways and Young Avengers. They tied them all together for some reason. I don't know why they always did that, but that was their way. Like, oh, the teenage teams, we'll just group them together. We'll just, they're not X-Men, so we'll just group them together. They were two completely different teams with two completely different themes, but they tied them together. And the Runaways, the only real connection they have to any like major villain besides their parents is Victor being related to Ultron.
He has a cool backstory. I mean, I get what you were saying, like, like a waste character and like he's not even real in the MCU, but really cool story. Like his mom finds Ultron's head.
Yeah, it's a cool story. But then the Young Avengers is the team that makes the most sense because Patriot's like uncle was like a black superhero that fought alongside Captain America, and you had freaking Hulkling, which is the son of the OG Captain Marvel, and you have Wiccan and Speed, which are Wanda and Vision's kids, and Kate Bishop, and then you have Stature, which is the daughter of Scott Lang, and you have Young Vision, and I feel like I'm missing someone, but like you had all these characters had super close ties to Avengers, and that's why they were like the Young Avengers. And it was so cool because of that. And the Runaways was the opposite because they were just brand new characters that had nothing to lose. You could do whatever you wanted with them. They had one that was named after literally named after a Beatles song. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Like, literally a character based off of a Beatles song. Because she was an alien that when she took her bracelet off, she was made out of this pure sparkling light. And it was just such a cool thing that I could go on for hours about 2000s Marvel and how they did so many things right. And then what they did wrong. And I just don't want them to go down this whole Skrulls thing without developing the universe better. I think, when they did Civil War and they skipped over the Registrations Act and what that really meant, I feel like they really screwed up the universe. And I know there wasn't that many heroes at the time, but like they really, I think they need, like with Iron Man being dead, I think someone needs to bring up registration. Like, this is important. We need to do this and have the side effects of that. What that meant on the Marvel universe were so catastrophic. You had people that were best friends for years taking sides against each other. And we got to see that little mini battle where Spider-Man's introduced, but like the extent of that in the comics was so huge. It was ground shaking. And I hope they're building something like that because, these lesser known groups like Great Lakes Avengers, I hope they do the Illuminati. Like, I would really like to, like, that's how we get Reed Richards is he's in the Illuminati. Like, because you already, Iron Man doesn't exist anymore because he's dead, but you could be flashbacks to him, Black Panther.
The Iron Man with the blue head, like the hologram Iron Man.
But you got flashbacks to them, like, this whole time of this stuff, and there was flashbacks of, Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, Black Panther, and him all together, and them talking about this stuff. Like, that could be how they do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought when they said the Iron Man coming back, that's how they're gonna do it. Like how they have the toys when he's just like the hologram in the suit and that like the blue head. That's how I figured that they're gonna bring him back in other movies. But
I really hope they don't bring him back. I think he's
hey,
done.
that would be dope though. If he was like a hologram, like it'd just be cool, I guess. See how badly they messed that CGI up. But anyways, I liked Victor, and I was mentioning him in the chat because he's Vision's brother. Whether it's fake or not, I understand, and he's Ultron's son. But it's dope to see he's addicted to vibranium, from Wakanda, the metal from Wakanda, because it does something to his circuits, like it calms his circuits, and he literally steals Claw's entire hand because it's made out of vibranium, and Claw's dead, so he has his whole hand in his like little locker, and he's charging up on it. I just thought that was cool. Like they don't really show you superheroes or villains like with their little issues like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yo, shout out to Carlo with a dope background.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I've been looking at it, right?
I mean, based on what all of this can potentially set up, what I want to like really hear what everyone's final rating is on the show. I guess mine is a 9.5. To be honest with you,
I'm gonna give
That's
it a solid 8.
8.
8.5.
9.7.
Nice.
Negative
Matt,
5.
No, Matt. No.
You gave it a
Hey, Matt,
10
bring
the
out
other
the
day.
toilet back.
Matt, you gave it a 10 the other day. You gave it a 10 the other day.
And what did I say after that? I said, freaking, you watch, they're going to drop the ball. Nah, I'll give it an 8.
No.
You can't average. That would mean that this last episode was like at least a negative 50 for it to go from a 10 to a negative 5. You can't.
No, last
that
episode.
No, but
Last episode, the emotional one, was like, yeah, if that was a 10, yeah, it goes to an 8. It just drops. Don't forget, that was my first 10. Every other time it's been like an 8 or started off at a fucking 3. So technically, it's still gone up in percentage.
No.
So
Final rating for the season.
We can't be biased, guys, or people are not going to tune in and watch because we have a lot of listeners that didn't like the show too. So my score got to be low. But I'm just joking. On a realistic, I'm between like a 7.5 and an 8, like right where Nick and Matt are, like respectively. Like I said, as a whole, it stacked up on the score. It just didn't have what I like, and I can respect everyone's opinion, like you guys respect mine. So definitely,
Good stuff.
I don't respect that opinion, but okay, yeah, keep going. Well, I think that's a pretty good way to wrap up WandaVision. It is the series finale, so we're probably not going to be doing any kind of more reviews on that, but we will be doing reviews on Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
starting CW, right?
I reckon.
We can definitely start doing the CW show.
There's too much.
Superman. What is the Superman on, Matt? You the one
You
who's
jump on Superman Lois, but that's episode 3's next week. But that's the only one I'd be worth reviewing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even bother reviewing the Iris. I mean, the Flash. I wouldn't review that.
I think you're the one. I think you was pushing for the Superman and Lois one.
Well, after to be honest, these 2 episodes, I don't like. After these 2 episodes, like shit, it's worth it. But I wouldn't review any other CW show.
Oh, yo, Matt, we got to review Titans.
Titans. We'll do Titans.
So we have CW, Superman, and Lois.
No CW. Titans. We'll just do Titans.
Just do Titans.
No CW, Superman. Okay.
No, because they're gonna mess it up.
Okay.
So the way to do all of these,
Hey, you don't need a whole episode of me and Matt just screaming.
Do them all on one on Saturday, or we can do them like throughout the week. I don't know how much time you guys have, but like I was thinking if we just do them on Saturday weekly, like we usually do, we can have like Matt watches Superman and Lois. We can have Nick watch Titans and talk about Titans or something like that. Definitely.
Cool.
I don't know. For sure, we're gonna do the MCU ones, CW ones, or DC.
It just gives us more tags. Like we're able to tag the video onto different genres, and maybe somebody likes Superman and they hate everything else that we're talking about. So you never know.
exactly. That's what I
That's
was.
cool. That's cool.
But I enjoyed Wanda. I enjoyed doing these reviews with you guys. Um, Other than that, I think the last thing is to say thank you for watching to all our viewers. Go on YouTube, like and subscribe. Follow us here on Twitch. Check out all of our own individual things. You know, Nick has Vinyl Casket. Nuno has I Talk Comics, Talking Pop Culture with Matt, Comic Book Biker with Carlo, and Carlos has is it Omnipotence?
Yeah.
Or is it Omnipotence?
Omnipotent City Comics, just like
That's some hippie name. That's some hippie name, man. Some
Bro,
hippie name.
what's
Some
happening here. What's happening here on a final note is that none of you have read Thor: God of Thunder, and that's where that comes from, and you're just missing out. So it's all good. It's fine.
And I wanted to shout out for everyone on the internet to know that Manny is a hater on all side Thors, and if you're a fan of any of the side Thors, that you should unsubscribe from any of Manny's channels, and
That
you
is-
can subscribe to all of ours.
That is untrue. I really like Frog Thor. So
Frog Thor doesn't count. Like,
so who's the hater now? No, but no, for real. Thank you for watching. We are about to end this stream, but we will be talking Noctera in a couple minutes, and just a comic book rant in general. So make sure to tune in on that and give us your thoughts so we can have something to jump on and things like that. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice.
you go.
Oh, if you guys want to talk Future State, what do you guys want to talk about?
Go for it, man. Future State. Do
All
it.
right. What was Future State a waste of an event?
Fucking oath it was.
I didn't.
It was disgusting. It was pathetic. Besides the next Batman and
All the Gotham stuff was pretty entertaining.
Teen Titans was all right, and Nightwing. Besides them three, the rest were just utter garbage, man.
Hey,
I just
man,
don't think.
It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best, but for some reason, though, I mean, you gotta leave my girl Yara Flor alone.
Like,
Shit, I totally forgot about her. That's how bad it was, man.
Damn.
That was good too.
I think they had like one, maybe two good things. I only read Flash, Wonder Woman, and Justice League, and Teen Titans. And Teen Titans, we got Red X, so that I'm really happy about that.
Yo,
But
the coolest. Everyone's talking about Red X. Yo, Psy Beast
I
was
don't care.
That was such a cool idea where you take two characters that are best friends, like typically in the comic books, and you forge them together, and they both have their separate brains.
Think about the intimate moments, man. That sucks.
It's
That
weird.
sucks, man. Like, I just want to go do something real quick. I'll be right back. Oh no, you're stuck with me.
Yeah. Yo, dude, it's like, yo, Cyborg, I need to go into sleep mode, man, for a bit. You know?
Or hey, Cyborg, can you just shut off real quick? I'll turn you off. I'll turn you back on real quick. I promise. Just give me 2 minutes.
I just hope that I don't know what their plan is, like just looking forward, but I just hope this is all finished, man.
I
So-
remember Nick, you were saying that you think Cybeast is gonna be the ultimate bad from
No,
Future State.
I don't think
No.
so. I hope not.
I swear you said something about that, like that he was the one causing all the problems, which I don't know what
No,
problems.
I don't. I never said that, but I hope not. I don't want any of the Titans to be bad. But looking into the stuff that's gonna happen in Infinite Frontier and the teases, a lot of these things are gonna be referenced or built towards.
Right.
Oh,
He's
we got
mad.
two of them.
We got Mr. Right, and then we got.
Yeah. I
So
like,
I can.
I like how it says on the road, Matt.
I'm about to go on the road and keep talking to you guys. That's how much I love you.
So I think like because like you see like now in the Batman book, it's gonna be building like they're mentioning, what's it called? The magistrate is like as a tool of Scarecrow to introduce fear or some shit. So like you're gonna see the build towards the magistrate. You're gonna see the build of like these characters getting to that point. You know, Teen Titans Academy is gonna build towards that point. I don't know how the other stories are gonna lead towards it, but like you know you're getting Wonder Girl with Yara, so like that's gonna build towards that, and I'm excited. Some of these things look like they're gonna be good stories. The only books that came out this week after the end of Future State was Batman and Teen Titans and Swamp Thing, and not Teen Titans, Suicide Squad, Swamp Thing, and Crime Syndicate.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm not too excited about that either.
Ooh,
With
Crime Syndicate is only 1 of 5.
Okay.
And Swamp Thing is only 1 of 12, I think.
Yeah, I'm not getting them.
Is Wonder Girl gonna be a miniseries or is it an ongoing?
I don't know. It's probably an ongoing. My problem is now that they introduced 2 more Wonder Woman characters, and they're gonna forget about the established Wonder Woman characters, which I think is annoying. Because, you know, you have Wonder Girl, and you have what's her name, Troya.
Yeah.
Troy.
No, not Donna Troy. Is Donna Troy is Wonder Girl?
Troy's and
Donna Troy's Wonder Girl. Yeah.
Wonder Girl. Yeah, Wonder Woman. Yeah, go Wonder Girl. Yeah.
So
Cassandra.
she and Cassandra, and they've been characters forever, and I don't think they've been used properly. And now you're gonna introduce Yara and what's her name, Nubia, as these new characters. Like Nubia is now taking over as whatever. Like, what about the 2 other Wonder Woman, Wonder Girls that already existed?
Oh, I see what you mean though. Yeah. So Donna Troy, yeah, she was the original Wonder Girl, but you're right. She started going by Troya.
Yeah, Troya,
Right?
right?
Yeah, Troya. Yeah, that's right. And
with,
then
with like the star outfit,
right, yeah, sorry, man. And then Cassandra became
Wonder Girl. But now
yeah.
you want to introduce two more characters, and you also have Artemis that exists.
Oh fuck, I forgot about Artemis, man.
Artemis is another Amazonian character.
Amazonian character. She's cool, man. I like her.
Yeah, and she just well at the end of the Red Hood series, she walked out of the Outlaw because obviously Bizarro is. I don't know if this is still going to be a thing. If Bizarro is still going to be taking over the spot of Trigon, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. But Outsiders is Red Hood's Outsiders aren't a thing anymore. So where's Artemis? Artemis went back to whatever Themyscira, and she let Nubia take over. I doubt it. I think there'd be a big fight between Artemis and Nubia.
How how do you feel about like Nubia as a character?
I think it's cool. I love new characters, but my problem is when you forget about the characters that have been being lacked on. It'd be like bringing up a brand new person saying they're the Flash and letting Wally rot on the side. I'd be pissed. Like I'm upset the way that they use Bart. Like give Bart some love. Like Bart is a great character.
I thought that Nubia had been around for a while.
She has, but in a different iteration than what she's being portrayed now, right, Nick?
I think so. She has, but she hasn't been around as long as the other ones.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like, you think if anyone was going to be in charge of Themyscira, it would be Donna Troy, because of who she is in the background and all she's done for them and all this stuff. You would think it would be her because of the amount of work she's put in for it. I don't know. I hope Teen Titans Academy goes really well because that is a really interesting storyline for me. With all these new characters like Brat Girl, I'm so excited to see the backstory on that. Like, who the heck is Brat Girl?
I'm excited. I just want to see Red X. That's the main guy for me. I want to see what his thing is because he is going to cross over to Suicide Squad as well in issue number 3 or 4.
Really?
Red X is going to play a part in Suicide Squad, which is going to bring in the Teen Titans.
Do you?
That's the only reason I'm getting Suicide Squad right now. So
The first issue is a good read.
I haven't read it yet.
It's a good read. I'm just letting you know it's a good read, and I like the new logo where they have like spiders crawling over it.
I didn't look at it. Let me go check that out.
Do you have a wish or like a preference of who you're hoping that Red X is? Because again, up until now, we still do not know, right, for a fact.
I think it's a brand new character. So in Infinite Frontier 0, you get a little prelude. And it's this kid buying a Teen Titans backpack and then jumping on the boat to go to Teen Titans Tower with the rest of the new Academy kids.
Yeah, because he makes it seem like he's familiar with all of these
because I think from what we got in the flashbacks is that he was part of Teen Titans Academy.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he betrays them. But in this prelude, I don't want to spoil. You don't really spoil it because there's nothing comes from the story. All these other kids, he's like, oh, we have matching backpacks, and the other kids are like, yeah, they gave it to us. But you see him buying the backpack. So he bought the backpack because he's not supposed to be there. And he sneaks on the boat. And in the boat, you see him stash the Red X mask into the backpack. So he's going to build up. There's going to be this character that builds relations with all these people and then becomes Red X, I guess.
Do you feel that it's kind of like not like a cop out, but it's kind of lame, I guess, that it's looking and not looking. It's obviously not going to be Dick Grayson.
Well, in Future State, when he sees the mask, he's like, "Oh, I remember the time I used this." So I think they're gonna.
But you know what I mean,
Wait,
though, right?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like the debut of Red X and who Red X is gonna be, that it's not Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just happy
Who
that
is Red X gonna be?
we don't know yet.
We don't know.
Who do you reckon it will be then?
The question Carlos is just asking.
I have two guesses. Well,
Yep.
one is already. I'm pretty sure it's wrong. I thought it was gonna be Damien.
Yeah.
That's
That would have been cool. See, I would have been perfect. I would have been perfectly fine with that.
because he has history with Nightwing and all that stuff.
Yep.
The other one is I'm thinking it might be Clown Hunter.
That's
Sorry,
what I
who?
was gonna say. Clan Hunter.
Ooh. Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
I said that ages ago. I said that ages ago.
Nobody heard you. Nobody. I said it first.
Fuck off. I said that. I don't think we were streaming it, but I said that ages ago.
No, we're streaming for sure. But,
Yeah, I think that might be right. That it's either gonna be a brand new character that we've never seen before, or it's gonna be Clown Hunter.
I'd be cool with that too. Yeah.
Because I can't wait for you guys to read Batman, because in this new Batman issue, dude, the chemistry between Ghostmaker and Batman as like they're like partners in crime now, it's so good.
Dude, I'm telling you, Ghostmaker has the dopest like character design that I've seen in a long time.
And they're working with Oracle, and Oracle's like, "What are you doing?" Well, and he's like, "Well, this is more dramatic, and Ghostmaker is dramatic."
I don't know. I don't really like Ghostmaker, honestly. I thought he was cool as a background character, like the flashback character, and all that stuff. But like now, the fact that he's like he can beat Oracle in a one-on-one game, like one-on-one fight when it comes to like technology, I guess. I don't like that. I want Oracle to give him a run for his money or something.
Yeah.
He's winning too much at too many things. I need him to have some kind of struggle.
Do you feel that the Batman books right now have been introducing like a pretty high volume of brand new characters
and reestablishing characters into like mainstream.
Because I feel like Batman's been pumping out of like a lot of brand new characters that it seems, I don't want to say that they're pushing on fans, but I feel like Punchline, Ghostmaker,
Clown Killer.
Huh?
Clown Killer.
Yeah,
Clown Hunter.
Clown Hunter, and then the new character, what's her name?
Molly.
What?
Miracle Molly.
Miracle Molly, exactly.
Who's that?
I haven't like actually read up on her that much, and I haven't gotten to that, but I did see like a couple of postings on social media about her. But yeah, it just seems like a pretty big volume of like brand new characters, which is great. Brand new characters are always awesome. But do you feel like it's kind of pushing, I guess, Batman and what a Batman book should feel like, kind of to the side? I guess.
I honestly think
No,
that it's more of
because they introduced a brand new title for that exact purpose.
It's less on the Batman side of introducing characters and more, I think, on the artist, Jorge Jimenez. Because he's the one creating all these characters. I'm pretty sure he's the one who's creating all of these. So I think it's more of a way to get his name out there and get his mark on DC Comics.
I mean, dude, I love everything he does.
Dude, I had to grab the variant wraparound. I had to do it, dude. I know we've seen this image for months now, but when I saw this on the shelf, I put back the A cover and I just grabbed this because I think this is and it's him and it's Tinian, and I love Tinian. Also, in this first issue, you get a side story about Robin written by Williamson.
Yeah.
Which was awesome because I love Williamson. Like what he did with the Flash is amazing. So like to have him work with Batman characters is phenomenal. I'll give you whatever money you want.
Yo, speaking of Tinian, just like tangent conversation that we'll have later. Out of curiosity, are any of you reading Something is Killing the Children?
No, but I heard it's really good.
Me too. I can't afford the fucking books at this point. Like,
That's something where I'd eventually pick it up in trades.
Yeah, me too.
Like first out, and I was at the shop, and it was only supposed to be like 5 issues or something, like 5 or 6. It must be a miniseries, and I looked at it and I was like, that I don't know. I don't think so. And then the shop guy was like, "You should get it." And I was like, "Nah, that's gonna flop." And I just left it alone. And now every single week, man, I'm just like, should have got that. Should have got
Dude,
that.
you know, you know what's crazy is that I actually bought the first two issues and I have them.
You
And
never
I
read them?
have, huh?
Have you read them?
No, that's the thing. I bought them, but my stack was so big that like I bought the first two issues, and then I can't remember what happened. I ended up like just not getting the third issue because I didn't officially add it to my pull list, and I like dropped it after issue number 2. I missed issue number 3, and I just really didn't think about it. By the time that I wanted to get issue number 4, it was too late. Like it was too late. But
The only thing that I hope that comes out of Infinite Frontier, because like I'm with Batman related, because I love what they're doing with Batman. I love how all these characters are working in sync. They added this new. Next week is the first issue of Urban Legends. Very excited. I think it's next week or the week after. Actually, I don't know, but I'm very
Yeah, now that I put myself down for that, I can't remember.
because it's basically what Detective Comics was originally supposed to be, which is
Is that the one it's in Europe? It's based in Europe?
it's all a bunch of different things. It's got Red Hood stories, it's got Outsider stories, it's got I don't know what else is in there, but like it's like the like Batgirls, like it's that's the book designated for all the side characters without them having individual titles. Because that gets so pricey. It gets way too pricey when all the individual characters have a title. Because then there's a Nightmare, then you're gonna give Nightwing, you're gonna give Tim, you're gonna give Damian, you're gonna give Red Hood, you're gonna give Oracle, then you got the two Batgirls, and you got Batwoman, then you got Signal, and you got Batwing, and you got Harley, and you got Catwoman, and now apparently they're trying to focus on Huntress again because she's been teased in a bunch of these issues, like, and then Ghostmaker and Joker's getting the series, like, and then next Batman, it's just too much. So I think this is the perfect medium, like middle ground, for them to take a lot of those characters and just put them in one book.
Yeah.
And say, this is the side character book. So when all these other books, these main books are going on, this is what they're doing. And that's what I feel like for a while what Detective Comics was doing with Batwoman. Because there was
wasn't that kind of like the whole point of back in the day, not that long ago, but of fucking what's it called, Batman Inc., where
Batman Incorporated, but that was like when
yeah.
they were just making everyone a Bat character.
No, right. But what I mean is this like separate book, this separate title, was again like all of these other, Bat characters. And that was a premise. Give them their own book so that you don't clog up the main, Bat books.
And then they tried to do that with Detective Comics because I think there's even an omnibus about it where it's Batwoman, Signal, or Spoiler, and Orphan.
Yep.
And like those are like the characters, and they go on their missions, and Batman's there every once in a while. And there's like there's a whole run of Detective Comics where it's just them, and that was awesome. And I really think that that's the best thing to do, especially now that they stopped the Red Hood ongoing and they put it into this, because it was getting the end of the Outsiders, whatever. The one thing I want out of this is they need to change Red Hood's costume.
What's wrong with this?
Don't like with the gas mask, like the face plate. It's not even a full helmet anymore, and he's got like this weird. What is it? They got him like with a fresh cut with this fade. You can't even see it, but his head's fully shaved now.
You needed a haircut, man.
I liked when like all the Robins had like the same hairstyle because they like you got this weird sick thing where like Batman just kept trying to replace his sons.
I don't want to know that. I don't want to feel that way in the background thing. Let everybody be their own character. Especially, I will say, Jorge Jimenez has a hard time drawing Nightwing's hair because there's some panels in the Joker War. I remember some panels he had short hair, other panels he had that long Nightwing hair, and then I'm just like, what? Come on, man, just keep up with the same haircut, man. That's all it takes.
But I'm really excited. The books that I'm personally, I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm very excited about what they're doing. The books that I'm most excited for out of DC right now, besides Batman and Detective and Urban Legends, because I think that's gonna be great. Nightwing looks like it's gonna be a freaking awesome run. That's Tom Taylor, right?
Yeah.
And Jimenez and Jimenez.
Tom Taylor's house.
I think that's gonna be an awesome run. I think there's Robin ongoing. I don't know if it's an ongoing. I hope it's not. I hope it's just a limited series. I think that's gonna be really entertaining.
The covers for the Robin series
Look like they're gonna be sick.
Fuck, they look like sick. I am picking that up, man. Day one. They're looking amazing.
And I hope next Batman, I hope they just develop him better. My one of my biggest gripes is the underusing of Batwing. What happened to Batwing? When did they decide? I don't know if I wasn't in the loop or I wasn't reading. When did they decide, hey, we're not doing Batwing? Because in Joker War, there's literally a scene where he whips out the suit. So clearly he has the suit. He's capable of wearing it. He whips the suit out. He never uses it in Future State, which was bullshit. He ends up being a douchebag in Future State. I don't know if you guys.
The thing, that's because they made his brother the Batman.
So what?
Batman, so they're not gonna make.
Next Batman's Robin could be Batwing. You can have this brother duo.
The brother has more experience as Batwing. It doesn't make sense to me, but
I'm okay with him. I'm okay with him becoming Batman. I think that's cool. I thought his character is interesting. I'm excited to see the background, especially because the family's so closely tied now to Grifter. I'm excited to see, him work with Grifter and like learn from Grifter. Because that would be. What if you had like this separate Bat team where it's this other Batman with Batwing and Grifter running around? That would be awesome. Especially because they have the money of Wayne Enterprises behind them.
Wait, they have the money? Oh, but now it's being controlled by
Lucius.
Lucius, right?
Who is their father. And the man paying for Grifter. The man who has he has Grifter on his payroll, and he has two sons that are both either are or become heroes, Bat-related heroes. I think that would be an awesome team if, like, okay, Batman doesn't have the resources to do what he was doing. Lucius is like, screw it, we're putting a team together.
Wait, so are they really gonna continue with that storyline that like Bruce has really lost fucking everything?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So in I don't know if it's either an Infinite Zero. I think it's an Infinite Frontier Zero. He's talking to Oracle, or it's Batman. He's talking to Oracle. One of these two issues that came out this week. He's talking to Oracle, and Oracle's like, "Well, are you gonna turn your crash avoidance on?" He's like, "No, I had to get rid of that." He's like, "Oh," and then he's like, "I'm jumping out of the thing." She's like, "But you can afford autopilot." He's like, "No, I'm just putting on a remote control. You gotta steer it."
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess, and you know me, man. Typically, I'm on board for everything. Like, let's give it a shot. I don't tend to be pessimistic, but I don't know how I feel about like Wayne, like Bruce. Just
he's gonna get his money back.
No, I like this because it makes things more complicated. It gives him more problems to deal with because you have this rich guy can just use his money to fix all the issues and build this new machine and build this and
right. It reminds me, you know what though? I guess this kind of reminds me of Nick. You remember was it Tony Stark disassembled or Iron Man disassembled?
Oh, which one of those? I don't remember. But I really
Title.
liked in the 90s when
I
he
don't-
really went alcoholic and he broke down
Yeah.
as a character.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember the official title, but yeah, like when he lost everything, dude, it was like great stories. I loved it. But there wasn't anybody else really that was out there like, you know, with his money doing his job. You know?
You had Reed
So
Richards, but he wasn't using his money to do that stuff.
that's what I'm saying.
But
you know, so
you still had him paying, because in the 90s when he stopped being Iron Man, it was Rhodey being Iron Man because at that point everyone thought that Iron Man was just someone that worked for Tony,
exactly.
worked for Stark Industries, and then he became War Machine, because obviously he had all the money to do whatever he wanted because of Tony, but he didn't abuse it like Tony did. With this, I'm just excited to see a Batman that's more down to earth, and his focus is his family, and that is awesome.
That's definitely a different take on Batman.
It's what we there's no more Alfred, and that's still a big thing that's really affecting him. And Oracle even says in these new issues that she's like, I'll be Batgirl when I need to be, but I'm Oracle right now. And she's like, I was going to take it easy on my implant, but when time calls for it, I will get in the suit, no problem, whenever. But she's like, I don't have to worry about the mantle of Batgirl because of Stephanie and yeah, like she's like, there's two perfectly good Batgirls that exist that can do whatever that needs to get done. And if they need my help, I'm there. And that this whole emphasis on all these characters filling all these different roles, and I love it. You got Nightwing, who's now rediscovering. Like, I really wish that they didn't destroy his last relationship because that was stupid. I'll be right back. I gotta take a phone call.
For sure.
I'll just take a phone call.
No,
I'm at my comic shop.
I don't like the fact that they just ended Nightwing's relationship, but I didn't really like her to begin with. Honestly, she wasn't horrible.
Here for dude, is it Dick and Barbara, or should it be Dick and Corey?
I'm a Barbara girl. I like
Corey.
But I like Dick and Barbara. That's who it should definitely be.
Yeah.
Nick and Corey, the original ones. That's why I'll go with them from Teen Titans.
You're powerful, friend. He can't handle that.
Yo, but
that makes me think: are they going to get together on the show?
By the way, to everyone that's tuning in or listening, our own Matt is so dedicated to the craft, so dedicated to the hobby, to the passion, to the love, that while we're having this stream and we're having our discussion, he's on his way to his comic shop to pick up his comics because he cannot live without them. I love the dedication.
And here we are. We're here.
Respect.
I like that.
I like that.
Hey?
Respect.
Good.
Gotta say hi to him, man.
Tell your shopkeeper to give us a wave.
Mr. Man in Love here and giving me shit. Hey, we're doing our podcast live. Want to say hi? Want to give yourself a plug? What book do I need to get? Knockatira. Do you have Knockatira, boss? There we go.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go, man. You got it.
Look for that secret variant.
Dude.
Hey, they're telling me you should have a secret variant for me.
Secret variant?
I'm Knockatira. These are my American friends.
No, I don't have a secret variant.
I'm doing my podcast while I'm shopping, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, Noctera, you got it.
Am I getting this? Did you boys read that?
I heard it's really good.
I heard it's really good. I haven't got into it yet.
I think it's gonna be too mature for me. I don't know. I think it's a lot of gore and violence, and I don't want to do that. I mean, it looks interesting. Like the whole, I read the summary about the fact that it's like he wants to get he's doing these missions for the government so he can get his memory back or something like that. I don't know. And to know how he became what he is. and I'm just like, it's cool, I guess. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna sign off. I'll come back on in about 20 minutes. I'll be back on.
Do it.
No, catches.
But yeah, speaking of though, what do you guys think of that?
What,
Of,
Natura?
Terra,
Dude, phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Um,
So
I really hope
sorry.
they don't screw the pooch.
Me too.
What do you think would screw the pooch? Like, what do you envision that's gonna happen?
I have something to say about this. Okay, real quick. To me, screwing the pooch on this, I think would ultimately come down to what plagues creator-owned books more often than not, and it's extremely long breaks in between issues. I don't know if you guys ever read Seven to Eternity.
No, but I heard about it.
Yeah, from Rick Remender, dude. That comic it blew up, dude. Had a huge following when it first debuted, and they went on like a 6 month break sometimes, man. Maybe like 5 months. They were just really long breaks between issues, and it lost a huge portion of their readership. It didn't affect the story, when the comic came back, but it definitely like broke the flow of the comic. So
You're reminding me right now of I don't know how people pronounce it. I pronounce it Isola, but it could be Isola.
Isola, dude. That's another one. That's another one that I was gonna bring up. Dude, what's been plaguing Saga, man? Like fucking, it's been 2 years now that that the break has been going on. So that to me is like would be screwing the pooch. Not necessarily that the story isn't gonna be absolutely amazing when it comes back, but it just it kind of it hurts as a fan.
I just don't want them to do something corny, and then it becomes like a hassle to read it because it's something I don't like. Like where they take an easy route where they just blame something, or they introduce they write these weird creatures more like zombies, or something like that, and it just becomes another zombie book.
For sure, but you know what though, that is one of the things that I like the most about this issue. So a quick premise to it is basically one day light just goes out in the world. So there's just darkness, and in the darkness there's a bunch of monsters and creatures. And the only way for people to protect themselves against them is to make sure that they're surrounded by artificial light, because the sun has basically been blocked out. So you gotta have flashlights. People, I love seeing some of the characters that walk around with like Christmas lights wrapped around themselves, like all sorts of crazy post-apocalyptic stuff, right? And there's these like checkpoints, these like establishments that are set up where they're almost like havens where there's light available. But what I mentioned that I love is that the take on the creatures is that if you are exposed to the darkness for more than 10 hours, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, 10 hours, you start getting this virus, and the virus starts in the gums of your mouth.
So that's so interesting for me.
It's so interesting. I love that, and the fact that you get story that people have identified that, and they figured out like this is a virus. This is what happens. These are the stages. If you don't take get it taken care of, you'll turn into these monsters. I just love that unique twist to the zombie, I guess, or the infection plot line. I can't remember ever reading something like this, and that to me it's super unique. So I like the twist that they've taken in the post-apocalyptic slash virus that causes monsters take on this, and the fact that it's not like necessarily bullets or fucking grenades or all that shit. It's like it's light, it's flares, it's UV lights, and they're not even vampires, but you still need light. It's just a cool twist, and I'm loving it.
I agree with you. You want to go, Manny?
I was just gonna say real quick, one trope that I find it hilarious that they did not do. It's not original. It's not anything, but it's still it happens with every post-apocalyptic world. Is the fashion sense? Where does this fashion sense come from? Everybody's wearing like some cut off, like maybe jean jacket, who knows what. Everyone's got their weapons around them. It's just a post-apocalypse. You know that something went wrong in the world.
Exactly, it's coming. But you know what, dude? I fucking love it. I love it. Every single time, I love post-apocalyptic fashion. And
I look like, all right, so in 13 years from now, I'm gonna have to start wearing this. Like
for sure, exactly, it's coming. And and that's what I mean. Where I like how they, the twist on this genre or the trope is that even in the clothing that they wear, they incorporate, a lot of them incorporate like lights somehow, like fucking, I don't know, like I said, whether some of these people have like Christmas lights wrapped around themselves, whether somehow they've embedded like lights into their jackets or their hats or whatever. It's those little nods that I like, um, so yeah, but sorry to interrupt, Manny or Nick.
That was it, Nick. What do you got?
So what I really like about this, it gives me those vibes of like post-apocalyptic vampire stuff from the past without screaming those genres. Like it gives me like, Resident Evil towards the end of the movie series where like everyone's like on caravans. Like it gives me like, Blade using UV weapons. Like
and on that, like it's gonna be. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come up. You heard it here first. But one of those creatures, it's been 13 years. Those creatures, one of them is gonna be like ultimately smarter than humans, and just because they already said like it's not as soon as human turn creatures attack, it's already too late. As soon as the swarm comes in, it's already too late. So that there's at least one of them that has taken over these creatures, so they can organize, so they can do this, and it's going to be interesting to see who that is, how that happens.
Yeah.
What's cool too. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but I think that it was Val that. And the main character's name is Val Riggs. Valentina Riggs. Codenamed Sundog. Fucking
so cool.
Dude, so cool. I think that it was her that mentioned it. That at first, when people would turn into these creatures, you could still, identify them as like human. You can still kind of make them out.
Who is human? Who is animals? Like you could tell them, but now as it's gone on, you can't tell them from each other because they've started to.
Exactly, Nick. How do you feel about that? Like evolution, I guess.
I think that's awesome. I think that the fact that it I wish we could have seen that and that go on as the series went on, because I would have loved to see that the evolution that of it getting worse. And I kind of don't like it that we're starting off just with that being background information.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see the threat become more significant as the book went on, which it probably still will.
Because the way that they did like 13 p.m., you immediately got the fact that it was like 13 years later, right? Like it's been 13 years since it went dark.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's gonna be like you're gonna see 2 p.m. You're gonna see 4 p.m. So maybe at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I hope we get flashbacks. But what I'm really excited about is the fact that the main character is a trucker. Like she drives this giant truck and she transports people, and this truck is all lit up and like everything, and like that's her job, is like to be a caravan. And I think and that's why she's getting hired to go to this new place, is because of what her job is. And not only is she that, she's a badass fighter with this sick suit. And I think that's so interesting and different because, like, who would have thought she? From all the, I didn't really read any of the previews. I've only looked at the cover art. I never would have thought she was a trucker.
I love that. I love that, dude. Okay, so a little like backstory on how I even came across this title. As you guys are aware, I actually supported the Kickstarter, which launched back in October, and the reason why I even discovered it,
Daddy Snyder.
huh?
Daddy Snyder.
Daddy Snyder, bro. That is why I discovered it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking jump on this. Like, I'm gonna do it.
Is this his first independent book?
No, he's had a couple of them, but this is his biggest one though.
Yeah.
The other independent one I think was I can't remember the name right now, but this is like his biggest launch. And I've never backed anything on Kickstarter, but the but the premise of it, dude, the fact that she was gonna be a trucker in a post-apocalyptic world in like a world of darkness, I was like, what the fuck? Like a trucker? It just screamed like this is gonna be metal, dude. Like this is gonna be like a crazy ride. So yeah, Nick, the fact that she's a trucker, man, like you just would have never thought, and I like that it wasn't something like yeah, like she's like a fighter jet pilot, or she's driving this super like muscle car, you know, with like a bunch of guns, dude. It's a truck, like it's a fucking like big rig, man. It's you don't think badass necessarily when or superhero when it comes to something like that. So it was cool, man.
My other thing is you guys haven't mentioned it yet is this tease at the end of the villain was kind of badass.
Yeah.
He just came out of nowhere and he established his dominance immediately. Of course, because some guy wants to be like, "Hey, leave her alone," like wants to be the tough guy, and he just like, "No, you're not the tough guy. I am." And all he did was touch him. This is how
I
tough I am.
love how you don't know this guy's just a silhouette.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's it. Like no clothes or anything. He's just straight up silhouette.
Yeah, art wise, that was amazing because like when you first see him, you think he's in the shadow or something.
Yeah, or
But then,
they're trying to hide him, whatever, and then
Yeah.
you realize that's his actual body. Like the contrast to the rest of the background is insane.
I love everybody's loyalty to Val as well. Like she was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and hey, you got a problem with Val? Like, why is Val such a? I mean, obviously she's the protagonist, but like, what did she do? What does she do on a daily basis to?
Because
get?
well, I guess they kind of tease it a little bit is how she's been doing this since she was a kid.
Yeah. Well, what I'm really excited about, and I'm sure that we're gonna get, is how did she go from being in the back seat with her brother, when the lights go out with her parents, to being this fucking ferryman? Because that's what they're called, by the way. Like the people that do this ferryman, which is fucking cool.
Another thing we didn't mention is that the background of this character, Val, is so cool. So this isn't her actual brother. This is her adoptive brother and her adoptive parents. I'm pretty sure the brother's also adopted.
He is, yes. They're
So
both adopted.
so she couldn't see.
Yeah.
Right? Until she was like age 4.
Yes.
So there was a surgery to
Yes.
and she describes it as dirty hands, like covering her eyes and stopping the light from getting in. And that's how she feels about the world now. And she's like, it's back. And I thought that character development was so amazing. Because when you're first reading it, I'm like, what does this mean? And then as you progress through the story, you're like, wow, those first couple panels really like wasn't like usually the first couple panels don't really mean anything. It just like gets you in. You get your feet wet. Like the whole thing felt like it was important. There was no filler.
Even the drawing that she did, the whole drawing that she did of her
parents. And the brother.
Brother was like, I'm gonna mess this up real quick, but that's exactly what it was. Like the world got messed up in that sense of like it's dark now. I thought that was cool. I wonder if that'll be a future plot line of her whatever condition she had. I forgot what it was called.
She had a really bad form of cataracts, right?
Yeah, cataracts.
I wonder if it'll revert or whatever in the future.
If she becomes a blind hero, that'd be sick. I don't
think
know
that's
how
what-
she'd do it because it can't be like Daredevil who was able to like the sense stuff.
or could she? Maybe she gets some kind of contact with this darkness.
You know what? It would be cool if like the helmet allows her to see light, and that's the only way she can battle is wearing the helmet.
And it's kind of like Pitch Black, where he just seems like
with the
that.
goggles.
Yeah.
Another thing that Manny brought up earlier in our group chat that this book reminds me of is Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah,
Like
I love it.
I don't know what Snyder was smoking, but it was good.
He was smoking while watching Pitch Black or Chronicles of Riddick in general.
He was sitting down and he was watching 2000s movies and just saying screw it, and he was just drinking and smoking and just went at this because
no one's gonna remember this movie. I'm gonna do it
because it's like he binge watched Chronicles of Riddick, Hellboy, Resident Evil, and Underworld, and said screw this, I'm gonna make a book.
What?
I haven't thought about Underworld in a while.
Dude, I own the box set.
Oh shit, that's dope.
So I own the box set for Underworld and Resident Evil, but both of them don't have the last movies because I bought them before the last movies were released. So I have all the movies up until the last one. But
that's sick.
Both underrated series. Like they're both not that great, but for like movies that came out of that time period, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, dude, and to just sit back and enjoy, yeah, for sure.
Now that they're not being released anymore, I can sit down and enjoy it more. Especially when things like this reference like so heavily it's now become pop culture. It's not long like I can't even be disappointed at it anymore because now it's just like a reference point.
Yep.
To kind of go away from what we're talking about with what you just said, it's become pop culture. And Nick, you're probably not feeling this yet, but I know me and Carlos for sure. I saw a meme the other day that someone was like telling the teacher puts music on every morning before class. It's a Zoom class, and she takes a quest. And this student said, "Hey, teacher," like he stayed back and he said, "Hey, can you put classic rock tomorrow morning?" And the teacher was like, "Yeah, no, I got you. You know, you want Pink Floyd? You want AC/DC? What do you want? You know, let's do this." And he's like, "No, I want Blink 182." And I was like,
I'm Manny. I'm not that young.
But here, you're the baby. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm 27. If that's a baby, then that's a big baby. No, I grew up on Blink.
And I was just like, Blink 182 is classic. Like their first album, a friend of mine told me their first album was in '95.
Dude,
that was 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago. Like,
I think you know what? You know what's funny though? That the first like 2 releases aren't even, or 3 releases aren't even with Travis Barker as the drummer.
See, you're definitely an old head. Like, you know, I remember my Blink 182 before Travis Barker.
I remember when Travis Barker was in what was that? Aquabats. He was in the Aquabats. That's so crazy to think.
And it just and like so there's a here in Texas there's a you know in my town there's a radio station 98.7 Caleb, and it's just oldies music. And I remember when I was a kid, I would listen to it, and I would listen to 60s, 70s music, and I would love it. The other day I put it on, and I had 90s music coming out of it. And I was like, what are you doing? Please, what do you stop? This is the wrong station. I just wanted to throw that out there that we're old, just to let you guys know.
No, it's bro. In 5 years, well, hold on. In 5 years, because right now, 90s music, dude. 90s music is, I mean, guess depending on when you're born, but like 1999, 1990, yeah, 30 years. In 5 years, 35. Dude, in 10 years, we'll be able to say that music came out 4 decades ago.
Shut up, man. Oh, and the other thing is
That's insane. Huh?
Fashion trends are coming back from like the 90s and 2000s. I don't really notice these, but my wife is the one talking about it. Like low-rise jeans are coming back. And my wife's like, I refuse to wear those again. I refuse that. But like jean jackets are coming back as well. Like, I don't know. This has nothing to do with comics at all or anything. But
the way that we can tie this into comics though
is that every single thing is tying into the 90s comic storyline.
Dude.
And that they brought back X-Men Legends.
I was just gonna say X-Men Legends, man. You beat me to it. You beat me to it.
Dude, honestly, I feel like movies and comics from the 90s, that was when it was at its peak. Like, you had Avengers West Coast, you had the Jim Lee and Chris Claremont X-Men run. You had the X-Men animated series. You had the Batman animated series. You had the Spider-Man animated, Superman, you know, Fantastic Four. All the animated series that everyone grew up watching were established in the 90s. The Image and Spawn 90s. Came out in the 90s. The whole X-Force, New Mutants X-Force, Cable, big pouches, Bishop with the M scar, like all these iconic things.
I know that like obviously like most collectors and readers will know that the 90s, you know, fucking like led to the, you know, near damn collapse of the entire industry. But if 90s stuff is starting to come back, I would not mind.
That was a business and production problem. It wasn't a story problem.
No, for sure. It definitely.
Like,
but what I would love to fucking see, dude, bring me back all of the foil variants, all of the fucking dude.
That's just Manny's wallet talking. That's not Manny talking. That's Manny's wallet.
No, that's Manny. I don't.
Dude, bring me back all of the gimmick covers, but with the technology that we have now. Bring me back more foil covers, more glow in the dark covers. Bring me more
with death metal. We got just a small glimpse at what's possible with with like the death metal being like embroidered up and like the partial metallic. Because Manny and Carlos, you guys have seen like some of the stuff that I've posted on my Instagram of like old 90s books I have. Those are my favorite covers because they're not overbearing when you look at them.
Yep.
Like when you put light on them, they're crazy. But like it's not like, oh, it's metallic, oh, it's holographic. It's like this weird mix where parts of it are like this super shiny, like you got holograms and all crazy shit coming out of it, and then parts are just amazing artwork, and it's wrapped in so well that it's just
telling you, man.
So it's and you don't see it at all anymore. And I think that's probably the most appealing part of it is because when you're something's taken away from you, you want it even more. You're like, oh, this wasn't cool, and then 10 years later, you're like, wow, like I miss when they did this.
This is fucking awesome, dude. I am a sucker. I'm a sucker for foil, bro. Whenever there's like modern foil covers that come out, I'm like, give it to me. I want it. Die cut, dude. When I mean, it was a shitty. It ended up being a shitty story in my opinion, and it's Spider-Man. But did you guys pick up the Spider-Man storyline by J.J. Abrams and his son?
No.
Okay. Well,
I really wanted to because of the font of Spider-Man. The font, I was like, hey, that's Spider-Man for sure. But when I saw it, I was like, no.
All right. So very, very quickly, the first 2 issues, dude, I thought that this was gonna turn into one of the best storylines ever. It ended up being garbage. But anyways, do you guys remember seeing the die cut cover of Spider-Man, the red one?
Oh, I think
by a Chip Kid, with the eye, and then there was one released for the first issue of Wolverine when it came out, when it had like the Slash, and then they released one for Spider Woman. You remember those covers, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, die cuts. Give them to me. Give me more of them.
That one for sure. Foil. I think foil is my main one. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't know if it's because it's shiny. If I'm trying to take a picture for the Instagram or something,
It's hard.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
There's a I don't know if it's a West Coast Avengers issue or if it's I can look it up. I have a photo of it on my phone. Or if it's a Secret Defenders issue where it's all red and it is completely foil and it's almost impossible to tell what the hell it is when you take a photo of it.
Wait, well, hold on. There's a Secret Defenders 1, but it's issue number 1, but it's not all red. It's got
Yeah,
Doctor Strange on it. It's got Doctor Strange on it and Wolverine.
No, it's a West Coast. So it's Avengers West Coast. It's issue 100, and it's Mephisto.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So it's
yeah.
I know I can't really like show it, but it's this.
No, yeah.
It's a fully red cover with one blurb that says in this issue the death of an Avenger, and then it's all red embroidered foil. It's a fully foil cover except for the title of West Coast Avengers. The 60 is it 64 pages and then a little blurb. Besides that, everything is red foil and it's embossed.
So,
but when you take a photo, you have to like really look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the picture on the stream right now. I guess you can kind of see it. So that's pretty cool. Is that the one where like Mephisto is like holding the West Coast Avengers in his hand?
Yeah.
I have it in full red foil, but it's so hard to take a photo of it.
Yeah, because even the picture online sucks. I have it. It's up on the screen right now, so if anybody's watching, that's what they're seeing. But yeah, that's one of those the ones that I don't like because you can't take a picture of it. But isn't it? It is like you said, embossed a little bit. Like
yeah.
It's
so you can see in person. It's awesome.
Yeah.
In person, it's one of my favorite covers because of how cool it is, and you can see all the details. But in a photo, you can't. But I also have the first issue of Secret Defenders that you're talking about, Carlos.
Yeah,
where it's his cloak behind everything is foil. So the whole issue is regular except for where you see his cloak. So his hands, his face, and it's Nomad. Oh, I miss Nomad. I forgot he existed. Nomad, Jessica Carpenter. No, Jessica Carpenter, Spider-Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Carpenter, Spider-Woman. Nighthawk.
Jessica Drew.
Jessica Drew. Is that it?
No. I said you're right. It is Jennifer Carpenter because Jessica is Jessica Drew.
Okay, I always get them confused because they had to start with J's. Like,
yeah.
All right, it's Jennifer Carpenter and Jessica Drew. All right, and then you have Nighthawk and Wolverine in the foreground, and then the whole cloak behind them is just red foil with black splashes, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Yeah, dude, I remember that cover, man, because I've always thought this is such a cool fucking cover.
The other one, one of my favorites is Uncanny X-Men 350, where it's that triple fold cover.
Yeah, I love that cover.
It's Gambit's eyes, his playing cards, the X-Men symbol, and then like Magneto's head. Yep. Thunderstrike issue 1, where the lightning behind him is all foil. I liked some of the 2099 stuff where the border was all foil, but none of the actual art was.
Yeah. Manny, when foil comes back, man, you're gonna get all the variants. Trust me.
Oh, Secret Defenders issue 12. That's the one with Thanos' head on it.
Oh, yeah.
Where the only thing that's foil besides the outline of the Secret Defenders font is Thanos' eyes. And it's like this big sparkling stars.
like gleaming, right? Yeah.
coming right off his eyes. Nothing else is foil except for that. That's what I'm telling you. Like the '90s did stuff differently. They did
So-
stuff different. It's just
Speaking of going back to '90s, something that you wanted to talk about was should Marvel reboot?
all right. So I'll explain this the way I explained it to everybody before. So
Yeah.
So obviously we know that DC keeps doing these like soft reboots, hard reboots. They always have for years. You know, every time there's a crisis, there's a reboot. And this time, instead of doing a crisis, they did death metal. You know, last time, you know, you had the New 52, then you had Rebirth. Now you have, you know, death metal and Infinite Frontier, and you had Future State. They keep doing these. Their events are always like restarts or refreshes or redos. So my question was with that is, do you want them to just be continuous and have all their mistakes and all the problems that happen out of these events just continue on to the next stage of their development, instead of them trying to, let's get rid of this and then take the good elements and move on forward like they have been doing? Or do you, and my other thing was with Marvel's always continuous. They never restart shit too dramatically. Everything's always referenced eventually. Everything always has a lasting impact. Blah, 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 blah. And it's been that way for like 20 years, 30 years since the last time they really tried to reset stuff. Like you've had
the biggest one and the closest thing that we've gotten was definitely Secret Wars.
It's which one?
Well, yeah, you're right. The most recent one.
I hate I love when you guys talk about Marvel, like the stuff that I missed out on, and you'll reference like Secret Wars, and I'm always wanting to say like, which one are you guys talking? And then you guys start talking about characters that didn't exist, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's the newer one.
Yeah. And the only reason why I bring up that Secret Wars is because that's the one that's really had an impact in terms of like a universal change of like.
Yeah, you've had character reboots, like obviously we know Spider-Man's One More Day and Brand New Day kind of tried to reboot the character a little bit and forget the things that happened in the past, and stuff like that. And you've had things that are just kind of forgotten. There's a lot of things in Marvel that they've just kind of pushed out of existence without ever referencing it.
Yep.
And I don't like that. I like to think, you know, at least if it's something like what happened to Nomad? Where's Nomad? Do we even know what happened to him from the 90s? No. Where was Shattershot for the longest time until he was referenced a couple years ago, and then again a couple months ago? Like these characters just, there's so many characters in these universes that I would rather know that this character doesn't exist, or that you just don't care about using them.
Yep.
Like Animal Man. How often is Animal Man used? Not often. But
Animal Man
in DC.
Oh yeah, okay, in DC.
But
yeah.
after New 52, you didn't even know he existed for a while.
Yeah, dude, his new real quick, his new 52 title, fuck man,
it was good.
Jeff Lemire was on it, right?
Yeah,
dude, that was.
But the thing with DC is like, oh, well, you know, Rebirth. A lot of some characters don't exist now or haven't been introduced yet. So if you don't see this character, you know that character doesn't exist until they're brought in, and then you'll be okay. They're in. Like I'm pretty sure that in this, it was Batman and Superman Future State. I think at the end of that, you get to see Animal Man. And I was like, oh shit, Animal Man, that's cool. Like he exists. But you know, like you don't expect some characters to exist because you know things are refreshed. They might not exist in this time. But in Marvel, you're like, well, I'm just left to wonder where are these characters that I grew to love? Like where are the New Warriors?
So New Warriors, speaking of them, they were supposed. So I'm gonna do a.
They're supposed to have a miniseries, right?
I'm about to do a new stream about this on Monday because I'm going over Champions 4, which is doing the Outlawed story arc right now. And New Warriors was supposed to show up in Outlawed because they are technically teenagers and they're going to be outlawed from doing heroing. And in my pull box with Atomic Empire, it's still there. It's still going to come out. Like it's just late. It's just being pushed back, and that's one thing that I hate about. I mean, COVID did a bunch of serious things, but one of the things it did is kind of push Outlawed uh, series out of scope. Because like then now Outlaw came out at the same time that King and Black did, and King and Black is completely overshadowing it. No one's talking about Outlawed at all. But New Warriors was supposed to come out with their own miniseries talking about Outlawed. Power Pack was coming out with theirs. Miles Morales was gonna it did tie into it, and Ghost Spider tied into it. So New Warriors, like you're talking about, and they were supposed to show up again, and they were gonna have new suits. They still are. Like I said, it still hasn't been canceled or anything, but they were gonna come back and see like, hey, how where they been, blah blah. And they did show up in Miles Morales, I believe. They were like, oh, New Warriors are back, and they show them fighting in the background, but that's it. They don't really explain.
I remember that. Where I was like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's what it is. And they're fighting because most likely they are against Kamala's law, which is no teenage superheroes without a mentor.
Yep.
So what my problem with this, with New Warriors being part of Outlawed to begin with, is that you got characters still on the team like Speedball that clearly during the aftermath of them blowing up Connecticut, the Registration Act, Civil War One, Initiative, and Dark Reign. He was a fully grown man when he was Penance. Fully grown man in the Penance suit. He was a fully grown. I'm gonna go off. Fully grown man, and as Penance, his character was so cool, and the development this character got because he was the only survivor.
That shit was dark.
It was dark, and you had he was trying to deal with his problems with Doc Samson.
Yeah.
It was his therapist, but you had freaking what's his name? Norman Osborn was messing with the Thunderbolts at the time at Thunderbolts Mountain, reading into Dark Reign and creating Hammer. So everything that went on was dark, and the fact that that character was the only person to survive the Nitro's explosion and have to like deal with the aftermath, that all because of him, like all these kids died, this whole school died, everyone died, all these people had the Civil War and fought each other, and he was in a coma for a while. Cap died. But still. But Captain America was executed, was assassinated in front of the courthouse. Like, all these people lost their best friend. People were Reed Richards and Sue Storm had like a falling out. All these people had this traumatic experience. Spider-Man had all this shit where he was on Iron Man's side, then he wasn't. All this shit went down, and he had to live with the fact that it was his fault, and his powers didn't act the same way. So in order to use his powers, he had to feel pain. So he wore this suit where it constantly was ripping his flesh apart, so that he could use his power. Dude, shit was crazy. So how the hell is he a teenager again? That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't they just reboot it? Why don't we reset? That doesn't make sense.
Dude, everything can be attributed, and that's why Secret Wars, the most recent one, happened. That's why when Franklin Richards and Molecule Man, ended up like bringing this universe back, Prime Earth or whatever. Dude, all of that, I feel like Secret Wars, it has served as like a deus ex machina for a lot of these types of things. You know what I mean? Like, well, why did this happen? Well, reality was technically recreated again.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a soft reboot.
It is, and a perfect example is that the fucking Triskelion from the Ultimate Universe is now in the Prime Universe, without the Ultimates, actually being a part of this universe as of now. Shit like that.
Another character that I'm just curious where the hell he went, and I would just wish they would explain it, like use a reboot or an event to restart things. Is like Gravity. Gravity was such an important character in the mid to early 2000s. You know the guy who had, his symbol was arrows going in.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
yeah.
circle with 4 arrows going in. They built him up as such a important character in like Initiative and like Civil War and shit.
What was the last storyline for Gravity? Because dude, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was part of the Secret War. Like, it wasn't he like one of the main pieces of the not Civil War. I'm sorry, Secret War.
I don't know. I stopped reading, and then I when I came back, he was just gone. But like he was
Manny, sorry, of the recent Secret War.
Yeah, I didn't read it, so I'm not 100% sure. But I thought that he was. I thought he was the main part of it.
He was like in the early 2000s. They built him up to be like a really important character because he could like control gravity.
Manny, I think that you're thinking of the Molecule Man, which is who I just referenced right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Another character that in Thunderbolts was made super freaking relevant and super important, and then doesn't like exist, and like exists but isn't like as important anymore, was Radioactive Man. When he wore the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Like all these things, that's what I hate, is that like there's no explanation of why these characters become relevant and then not relevant, and then it's supposed to be this fluid timeline. I get it that now I understand. I should have read Secret Wars.
Hey, to answer your question, Nick, I'm reading the summary for New Warriors #1, and it's saying Thrasher is going to reunite with Firestar, Rage, Speedball.
So my question is, which Thrasher is this? Is this his the first one or the second one?
I don't know about that. Namarita and Silhouette. He said they're coming back to mentor the whole new generation. So they're all over 21, and they're gonna come back so they can mentor those teenage.
Okay, thank God. The New Warriors have had so many members.
I love Namarita, by the way. I'm just throwing it
Wait,
out there.
Namarita when she's white skin tone or when she's blue with the white lines?
Blue with the white lines.
Dude, that run, I don't know who the artist and who the writer was, but the run that led into Civil War, when they get their own reality series. Like, Manny, I don't know, I doubt you've ever read it, but literally they're literally a team that gets they're kind of popular. Some of their members have been Avengers at one point or another. Justice was I don't know if you know who Justice is. Justice was an original member. Rage, who was an Avenger in the 90s, was a member. All sorts. They had such a revolving thing.
Eclectic.
Nova was a member of their team. So they get a TV crew basically that follows them around and films them, live streams them TV, when they go to fight crime.
It was reality TV.
Yeah. It was straight up. It was they were a superhero team that was a reality show.
Yep.
And it was when that came out. That was the first time anything like that had ever happened. And it was so different. So when they fought Nitro and things went wrong, and they blew up that school in Connecticut.
They filmed it.
It was on TV. It was live. People watched the mistakes and everything, and that's what called for the Registration Act. And that was so different in that time period. And I feel like Outlawed is referencing that really hard.
And to me, that whole storyline is going to be one of the most genius storylines and just ideas that has ever been crafted in comics.
And I feel like it's overlooked because the movie Civil War kind of takes away from the impact of the comic books because people are like, "Oh, Civil War, Civil War, Civil War," like Captain America Civil War. I don't even think that it should have been a Captain America movie, and it shouldn't have done. And when it first was announced, I was like, "Wait, what are you doing? You don't have enough characters yet. You can't do this. Like, this is like the biggest event to ever happen."
This goes back to what you were saying on our last stream with like Secret Avengers not having anything ready. This Civil War was not comic book Civil War whatsoever, like
No.
at all. And that really, when it came out, I was pissed. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a good movie. It's gonna be great, whatever. But it's not gonna be comic book Civil War at all. And it wasn't. And
They
that's sad.
also were doing Civil War 2, which I just couldn't fathom.
No. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Like, I don't know why they would try to take the popularity of that name and try to do it again.
I thought that the concept was great.
Had they not used the tagline Civil War and named it something else, maybe I wouldn't have been so apprehensive about it. But even then, I think the premise was cool, but the overall portrayal and motivations for Captain Marvel, for Carol, I just thought was off base. And I don't think that they just didn't fit her character to the lengths and extreme that she took it, if that makes sense.
I will never love her character as Captain Marvel. I'm sorry. She will always be Miss Marvel Warbird. The costume, the singlet with the giant yellow swoosh and the sash. That will always be how I recognize her because that's how she was in the first Civil War, and she was a badass powerhouse character. She wasn't a leader. She wasn't supposed to be this important character. She was brute force. Her and Sentry were the brute force.
He's definitely did. Look at him just saying like, "Not my Captain Marvel, not my Captain Marvel." Like, you gotta involve with your time, man. Like it happens.
And look, this is the thing for me with Civil War 2, all right? I can overlook Miss Marvel being Captain Marvel now. I still think that a lot of her stories are really good, now, but that wasn't even the biggest offense. The biggest offense to me was this fucking buildup forever of Ulysses. That was his name, right?
Yeah. And he didn't do shit.
He didn't do fucking shit. And the payoff at the end, dude, it's like it was a cop out. The way that we're gonna end this, series and the resolution to it is that he's evolved so much, beyond what anyone could have thought, that he's reached the level where now he gets to travel with, or be taking to, I guess the next plane of, of a super being, and he ended up fucking piecing out with, was it the Celestials?
Celestials or Eternals?
No, it would have been the Eternals. It would have been the Celestials, I think, right?
I don't remember. Well, aren't Celestials those big old?
Yeah.
Was it that? It's been a while. It's been since 2016 since I heard.
Dude, it was so bad that I don't even care anymore.
I do like. So you're right. It shouldn't have been called Civil War 2 because it doesn't even talk about what happened with Civil War 1. But I did like the concept of, should you, if you can see the future, should you do something about it or should you let it happen?
Yes. Well, dude, it gave me some serious. Was it called Minority Report?
Yeah, Minority Report.
Yeah. So it gave me vibes like that, but the payoff was cheap, dude.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to finish it, so they just made him into this crazy being, and he's like, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. Like, I'm out. Like, I don't know, man. But let me see.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't. Like you said.
Oh wait, no, sorry. He left with Eternity. Like, come on, man. You don't. No, dude. Eternity is like
the embodiment.
Dude, Eternity. Literally, the only beings above Eternity would be the Living Tribunal, and then beyond that point, the one above all. And you're telling me that like Ulysses? No, get the fuck out.
The Inhuman.
I don't know. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm typically not this jaded and pessimistic about storylines and events, but using the tagline Civil War and then having a cheap payoff like that, it just rubbed me the wrong way, and it fucking pissed me off. But
No,
I don't know.
I really wish they could have redone, like, waited to do the Civil War storyline in the movies, because it just, watching it, it's a great movie. It really is. But the comics, it was in, being a kid. I was in like not 8th, 9th, 10th grade when this was going on. Like, I was a child.
Nick, here, real quick, would you say that also one of the issues is that it doesn't even come close to it being considered a spiritual, like, like.
I don't want to talk shit on it because the movie is good and I do enjoy the movie.
Great.
It's an awesome movie, and for what it is and what was established at the time, it did everything that it could have done.
Yeah, I'm just referring to the use of the name. Like you can't even.
It makes sense. The use of the name makes sense for the plot line. It does, basically, because it does reference those kind of plot points. It makes a little bit of sense, but so many things in the comics happen that were game changers.
It was gigantic.
That was the first time that Iron Man revealed himself. Peter Parker revealed himself. You had the Scarlet Spider. Like, obviously Captain America getting shot by crossbones, and in front of the free. Well, no, he wasn't even shot by crossbones, right? It was.
It was the fucking magic bullet, whatever bullshit that
no,
it was.
No, what's her name? That was like his girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm forgetting her name.
Agent whatever. But she was like an agent, and she was hypnotized, and she shot him. Carter. It's the he dates the descendant of Peggy Carter, right?
Yeah. Sharon, right?
Sharon Carter. So
yeah, that's right.
I think they explained it as like she would. I remember that issue being on the news. Like the news talked about Captain America dying in the comic books.
Yep.
And Civil War, like you still see people walking around with the Civil War T-shirt without it saying Civil War now. It just says Marvel, and it's the Civil War cover with everybody on the front. And I had the original T-shirt that in blue, like sticky font, said Civil War on it. Like, dude, reading the events of what happened in how like a random book that wasn't even the most popular book in Marvel at the time, New Warriors, was able to trigger an event is just crazy.
And Nick, I just made you host.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm gonna have to pick up food here in a minute.
Yeah, I should gotta take off in like 5 minutes too.
Yeah, my food's here too, so I guess we're gonna abandon Matt.
Yeah, I think we're done. Matt led us through his comic shop, so that was cool.
Yeah.
He just got home.
Oh man, I was just about to take my washing to my parents' house. I was going to see if you wanted to come for that ride too.
I think if you guys are up to it, we could probably do one next week or something. But
yeah, I'm down.
There's no WandaVision or anything, so
yeah, I'm down, man.
And the problem is, I got I told him end of March to take my comics off, and he fucking took them off already.
Dude, there's honestly a bunch of stuff that I love to talk about because we did miss, that last show, and there's stuff to catch up on. Like I want to talk about Seven Secrets. I want to talk about King of Black. I want to talk about some Spider-Man. I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. So I'm down.
For next time, like, obviously,
when was the last episode of Seven Secrets? Because I fucking don't think I haven't got that for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, we got issue number 6, right?
Yeah, there hasn't been an issue in a while.
Yeah, the issue was number 6, I think.
7 comes out.
Oh, I'm up this.
Yeah, then they took a break. So they finished.
Oh, well, I got issue 6.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like you were saying earlier, Carlos, that these indie creator-owned books, they take breaks. So like they finished the first arc and they took a month break. So the next issue comes out in April.
Yep.
I do follow them on Instagram, and they are pretty good about.
Yeah, and yeah, like final thought here on indie creators, because that's actually what I'm really into right now, dude. I'm more than okay with like a month, 2-month break. I get it, man. Like
you gotta
it
think,
takes,
it's Tom Taylor. Like he's working on like 18 books.
yeah, dude. Yeah, I more than fucking understand, dude. The writing, the art, or something like that. Where I just think that it really hurts, the momentum and like the fans, and ultimately, I think in the comic book is when you take like a year break, man, for just one issue. Like at that point, it's like, fuck, man.
Like I understand
Tough.
someone like Tom Taylor that has like a lot on his plate.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, a month break, take it, man. But
Like that's what I'm nervous about with this Scott Snyder book, is that he's like a big player at DC. He's a big
Yeah.
player. Like he's one of their top guys.
Yeah, everything he does is turned on. Like everything that he's on, it blows up. So.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that like Noctera can stay pretty consistent, and that the breaks are no longer than 2 months. But that's just me being selfish, because I see this title as becoming one of my absolute fucking favorite titles, man.
Thanks to
And
you guys, we've only gotten the first issues on both these series, but I would never have picked up Noctera, and I would never have picked up Radiant Black. And honestly, those first issues,
Radiant Black.
Oh no! Go back.
No! Go back! Go back!
Call him right now.
Call him.
I'll go there next week.
Nice.
I knew I
Right.
forgot something.
But hey, man, real quick, I'm happy that you got to experience these books because of us hanging out, man.
dude, they're so
I would
good.
have never, I would have never picked up Seven Secrets, even though I love Tom Taylor. I just wasn't aware of it all that well, and now it's become one of my fucking favorite books. So, it's cool, man.
I wasn't gonna pick it up either, but the guy at my comic shop put it in my hands. And was like, "I'm not letting you leave until you buy this." And I was like, "All right, fine. Yeah, I'll do it." Because he's never led me wrong. So
Nice.
and he still hasn't. So.
But yeah, guys, I look forward to next week, and all the fun stuff that is probably gonna come out.
And if you're watching, follow. We're gonna be on YouTube as well. I think Matt's gonna put this up, so like and subscribe there.
Woo.
See you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Later.
Hey, everyone.
All right. Adios.